Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, you're good to go.
Great. I would like to call this Jefferson Elementary School District Governing Board meeting on December 16th to order at 7:02 p.m. Could I get a member roll call, please, Ms. Viday?
Clayton Fu,
Here.
Marie Brizuela,
Here.
Andrea Jordan,
Here.
Manufo Liahina Anuai,
Here.
Maybell Monio.
Great, thank you. I would also like to call Dr. Joyner to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you don't mind displaying the flag for us, please, as well.
Can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay. So please stand and put your right hand over your heart. All right, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for
which it stands,
stands one nation
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. And now we will, I'm delighted to address the installation of our board members, re-elect trustee Manufo Liahina Anuai and new member, Miss Andrea Jordan.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Vidalis, would you like to facilitate that?
Yes, I'd be happy to. So we do have two board members that will be installed today. We have a newly elected board member, Ms. Andrea Jordan, and we're glad to welcome her onto our board, and a returning board member for another term, Ms. Liahina Anuai. And so I will start. I was asked to support Ms. Jordan in saying her oath. So Ms. Jordan, we're going to start with you. Okay. And
There's a dog behind you.
my cat just came into the room and she's drinking her water. So
It's fine because my dogs are kind of hovering around me. So if there are any barking, please bear with me.
Okay, so my cat is your witness for your oath. Okay. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Andrea Jordan,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California,
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations, Ms. Jordan.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to the oath of office for Ms. Liahina Anuai, and she has a special guest who is going to be offering the oath of office to her, for her to repeat, older brother. And Ms. Liahina Anuai, if you would like to introduce him.
Yes. Thank you, Superintendent Vidalis. Unmute yourself, brother. I'm honored and humbled to have my oldest living sibling and my eldest brother, who was a high chief in our Samoan community, and his name is Papali'i Fatu Asun, and he is Zooming in from Las Vegas, Nevada. So take it away, brother.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, little sister, repeat after me. I guess you got to raise that right arm.
Yeah, and I'll be using Mom's Bible.
Wonderful. All right, sis. I, Manufo Liahina Anuai,
I, Manufo Liahina Anuai,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies,
and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of California.
and the Constitution of California.
I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Love you, sis.
Love you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats to our newly elected and re-elected board members. Does any of our board members have any comments or want to say anything at this time?
If I speak, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'd like to congratulate both our board members, Andrea, Jordan, for this is your first term. I welcome you. I know you're going to be fantastic and very happy to have you work alongside of us. And also for Manufo, she has been a wonderful board member, and I'm so happy that you're staying on with us. And just congratulations. I'm so happy. So with that, I just would like to say that we have a great board and a lot of good things that we're going to be doing in the future. And we also want to thank our superintendent, Bernie Pedalis, for all that his leadership as well. So that's it. Did everybody hear it? No?
Yes, I can hear.
You heard it. Okay.
Am I able to say something here at this point?
Mr. Papali'i, if you would wait until after all the board members speak, that would be great. I'll call on you then.
Okay.
Mr. Ku?
I wanted to also extend my congratulations to Ms. Liahina Anuai for being elected. It's been great working with you these past 5 years, and look forward to continue working with you on incredible things to make our school district better and stronger in the coming years. As well as Ms. Andrea Jordan, just want to extend my congratulations to you. Look forward to working with you. I know you've done a lot of incredible stuff across the district already, so just hoping and looking forward to seeing what we can all do together for our board. So thank you.
Trustee Ali? President Ali, do you have any comments?
Mr. Ali is now a member of the public, so he could wait until after all the board members have spoken.
Well, I would like to say to Trustee Manufo, Liahina Onoahi, that I truly value your dedication and commitment to our district. It's been such a pleasure to work with you. And on top of that, your lightness and perspective gives us so much in terms of energy and spirit and movement and progression. And I truly appreciate that. And I value you as a team player. And to our newly elect trustee Andrea Jordan, I know that we both have children at the same middle school. And so I've had, interaction with you a little bit more than a couple of our other board members. And I think of the other three R's, and I found you to be so reliable and responsible and respectful. So I look forward to doing great things with you. Congrats. Okay, now members of the public.
Yeah, so if the members of the public who are here who would like to speak, if you wouldn't mind raising your hand in the, I think it's in the participants tab, then I can, or Ms. Manio can call on you to come on. We do know that Papali'i Fatu Asun would like to speak, so we can start with him.
Well, it's quite an honor, but first and foremost, all the honor and glory to our Father in heaven, our Lord Jesus Christ, for his blessings. It's a great honor, sis, and I'm sure there's two people, and I know you know who they are, that are looking down right now, that are very, very proud of you. Continue on the good work for the community and our people. And God bless you in all that you do. Stay healthy, and congratulations for this great honor. We love you from all of your families.
Love you. Malo kaptai.
We have a hand raised from Ms. Pamela Di Giovanni. Would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Superintendent Vidalis. I'd be honored and humbled to speak. First, let me say happy holidays and thank you very much to the honorable current board members of JESD, superintendent, staff, employees, and teachers, and students and families who've done such a tremendous job through this COVID-19. And then I'd like to also welcome and congratulate, let me start with the brand new school board member, Andrea Jordan, Honorable One. That's so proud and congratulate you. Looking forward to great things to come with your great leadership skills that you already have and how you bring so much to the board to lighten up. You already did it in the schools and you're just transferring that energy and that light to the board, which will be so delightful and so needed, and your intellect as well. And so looking forward to that and maybe working together with you and building a long-lasting relationship. So I know you're there for the right reasons, which is so heartfelt and so great for not just JESD, but for all our community. So wishing the best. And now we have Honorable Re-elect Manufo Onoahi. I don't know where to begin. When you first came on the board, and I still remember it as your family does today, on such a night of so many emotions and how you were appointed. That was no happenstance. That was a meant to be, because it was a meant to be to shine that light for the children as you so did for your campaign, and you said it over and over, the short message, but the meaningful message that you were there for the kids. And that resonates so much throughout our county, our state, with all the work you have done locally and so forth. Looking forward to all the other things that accumulate together, that even the experiences that you've had both at the county side as well, and being humbly appointed by our superintendent, state superintendent, Tony Thurman. So many things. So, and you bring so much heart and so much love and so much commitment for the kids. So I humbly and honorably say congratulations to you. And that means congratulations to our Jefferson Elementary School District, who benefit by all the wonderful electeds on that board who are there for the right reasons. So I thank you for the time. Looking forward to what great things you can do, especially during this unforeseen pandemic as it continues unfold. The teachers, you're protecting the families, you're protecting our community, and it is in good hands. So congratulations, and I know what tonight is for you, Fo, but my heart there is with you, and blessings and love to you and to all. Thank you very much, Superintendent Vidalis, because I apologize for being late, but I'm glad you got the note that I was on another commitment. And you haven't chosen the new board yet, have you?
Well, the electors, the voters chose the new board, but the board has not yet selected. Oh,
they haven't reorged yet. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so I'll save my comments for that later. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'll stay on the line. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor David Canepa, I see you have your hand raised. Would you like to speak now?
Great. Thank you so much. And I'm just, I'm delighted for many reasons. Andrea, congratulations to you. Wish you all the best. I just want to extend an invitation. If our offices can work together, I'm here and we'd love to work with you. And Fo and I go back to the Willie Brown days of San Francisco City Hall. She worked in the mayor's office and neighborhood services. Congratulations. I mean, I've never seen so much grassroots than the Purple Rain out in the streets of Daly City, Reno. And the signs got me. Usually it's 10 people if you're lucky, but you had like 50 to 100 people. And so thank you for your hard work. But more importantly, thank you for your work in the county in general, dealing with issues around equity, dealing with issues around our children, being a countywide advocate for food insecurity and dealing with those issues. We talk about internet access, leaving no one behind. Fo to me represents what a public servant should be. And so one who cares, one who's rooted in the community, one who does the work. So Fo, congratulations. I wish you all the best. I'll probably talk to you tomorrow morning or the next day, but we're all so proud of you and the future is so, so bright for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Supervisor. I see that newly seated Mayor of Daly City, Ms. Jocelyn Manalo, has her hand raised. Would you like to speak now?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. I definitely want to congratulate Fo and Andrea on winning your seats to serve the students, teachers of the Jefferson Elementary School District. It is so wonderful to see both of you, move into public service and Fo get reelected or elected in this capacity, and really the compassion you have, Fo, and really the integrity and just your heart to continue the work. I've seen it and heard it from you, and you really move upon doing what's right for the community with a passion to serve, and really the earnest desire to make more equitable opportunities for our young people. And just amazing, echoing what Supervisor Canepa said around the energy and synergy you had brought onto your campaign, the love and the care that really your community and our community has shown around how much impact you've already done and the work that you're going to continue to do. And Andrea, speaking with you from the beginning and talking with you about what the work you want to do and the impact and being a parent really resonated. And I congratulate you as well. I look forward to working with the continued board here that really gives so much to the students. You know, as an alumni, honestly, I'm so proud to have graduated from the Jefferson Elementary School District, and you all continue to do the work that makes me so proud to have graduated from the local schools here. Also want to say hello to the current board members that are on here, Clayton Koo, Maybell Manio, and also to Shaquille Ali and Marie Brizuela. You know, thank you all for your steadfast leadership and honestly caring for our students and all the work that you've done to impact them as well. And so this is a moment, I know, celebratory moment of Fo and Andrea. So looking forward to working with both of you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Manalo. I see a hand raised by Superintendent of Public Instruction, Mr. Tony Thurmond. Would you like to speak now?
Thank you, Superintendent Vidales. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and congratulations, Mayor Manalo, and good evening, Supervisor Canepa. It's great to see the great work that you all are doing. I often see you in social media and on television, and I want to congratulate you, Mayor Manalo. It is an honor tonight to be able to witness the swearing in for two great board members, Trustee Jordan and Trustee Liahina Anoa'i. I'm honored to have the chance to witness my sister, Trustee Liahina Anoa'i, be sworn in by her brother. I know how important family is to you and how you bring family into everything that you do and how you build off of your incredibly loving family to make the rest of us your family. And so it's an honor tonight to be able to witness your swearing in. It's an honor to also be able to meet your board colleagues and your newly elected trustee, Trustee Jordan. Congratulations. We wish you the best. And I would just say greetings to all of the board members, Trustees Koo, Brizuela, and Manio, and Trustee Ali. As I am reminded, it was just a year ago that we were celebrating the Jefferson Elementary School District as one of our distinguished school districts. And while we are a long way from that because of where we are in the pandemic, I want to appreciate you all for being a district that cares about the needs of all students. For me, Trustee Liahina Anoa'i is one of the best examples of public service. She has a wonderful background of working around early education issues, of doing youth development and community development. I've had the opportunity to have her give testimony before the State Board of Education on how we build a robust ethnic studies curriculum that addresses the needs of all and gives self-esteem to our students of color, and that allows all California students to be proud of what we have to offer. It's been my honor to appoint her to serve as one of the co-chairs of our work on closing the opportunity gap. And everything that she does with distinction. And so I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for your family. I'm grateful that the voters saw to it to give you another term of service. We all benefit in this state. And in any ways that I can be helpful to you, I certainly hope that you will call on me. And I see my good friend and colleague, Senator Wiener, know that many of us in the state are here to help. And you're a fabulous representative for your community. And it is great to be a witness to your swearing in. Congratulations, my sister, and onwards to your next 4 years of service.
Thank you, Superintendent Thurmond. I see a hand raised by Honorable Trustee of our partner district, Jefferson Union High School District, Mr. Ochipinti. Would you like to speak now?
Sure, thank you, Superintendent Vidales. Congratulations to returning and incoming members of this board. Manufo, Andrea, proud to see you both here. Again, continuing to serve in the community and of course in a recurring role, Manufo, with all the service, and I couldn't say it better than a lot of people have said tonight. Proud to see you here and of course represent our community and do it justice. So thank you for being here and continuing that work. and Andrea, of course, for stepping into a role, which I feel like you have kind of built momentum into through the election. And of course, your ongoing service as a parent out here and doing work in the community. So these are the kind of things that I'm inspired to see people bring to elections and bring to our school boards, because a lot of the work that we do begins in our community and ultimately should serve that purpose. And so education is one of the primary ways we can do that. And I'm sure you're dedicated to that. So proud to be a part of this. And of course, as a product of the district and serve at the high school level, I'm looking forward to the work we can do as educators and as public officials out here. Our community does look to us and trust us to do these things and trust us with decisions that we can help bring those voices to the table. So thank you again, and looking forward to working with all of you to build North County.
Thank you, Mr. Ochipinti. Ms. Manio, I don't see any more hands raised from members of the public in this group. But we do have two comments that were submitted online that I would like to read.
Mr. Superintendent, would it be possible for Senator Wiener to, I believe he was signaling that he might want to give a word.
Yes, Mr. Senator Scott Wiener.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you for your work. And thank you to all the trustees for doing something very difficult right now, which is running a public school district anywhere in this country with this pandemic. It is unbelievably hard. I know that our schools and our families and our kids are going through so much pressure and trauma right now, particularly our most vulnerable children and families in terms of remote learning and all the challenges that it brings, and not getting your school meals in the way that you would normally get them, and so on and so forth. It's just a really hard and traumatic time. And I'm just so grateful to you, the Board of Trustees, the Superintendent and staff for just sticking with it and supporting our kids. And I know we'll get the schools open in a safe way. And I have a lot of confidence. So thank you. And to Manufo and to Andrea, congratulations on your re-election and election. Manufo, we've worked together quite a bit, and I'm just so honored to call you a friend, and the work you do in the school district, but also in the community, is just tremendous. You're one of those people who are, you are everywhere. You're looking out particularly for a community that all too often gets forgotten. And when we did our town hall that we hosted and you participated in about the pandemic's impacts on the Filipino and the Pacific Islander community, I got so many messages afterwards from people just saying, thank you for just seeing us, that we're not invisible, a community that's been so deeply impacted by the pandemic and by so many economic forces over the years. So thank you for the work you do. And Trustee Jordan, when you reach out to me for an endorsement, I made a few phone calls just to be like, just to check you out. And the thing, people just were so effusive in the love that they have for you and the respect that they have for you and your work. And I know that you're going to do amazing things. So congratulations, everyone, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Senator Wiener, for your kind words. Ms. Manio, is it okay if I read the public comments that were submitted earlier today?
Yes, please.
Okay. We have two public comments. First one is from Ms. Melinda Dart, a retired teacher and the co-chair of AFT 3267. First, a big thank you to all who ran for the school board in these times. I appreciate your willingness to stand up for public schools. Thank you, Manufo Liahina Onoahi, for supporting families, students, and district workers for 5 years. Thank you for choosing to run again in these difficult times and weathering the storms of a tough election. Thank you for making thoughtful and difficult decisions on behalf of the students and the employees of the district. Congratulations on being the top vote getter. Thank you, Andrea Jordan, for stepping up and running a highly effective campaign. I know you bring balance, wisdom, and compassion to this job. Congratulations on your installation tonight. And I have another comment submitted by Mr. Paul Hagan. He's a teacher and the president of AFT 3267. On behalf of the certificated employees of Jefferson Elementary School District, I am proud to congratulate Andrea Jordan and Manufo Liahina Onoahi on their respective election and re-election to the governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District. I need to take a moment to congratulate you both as well for making the decision to run for the school board in the first place. Thank you for your courage and the strength of your convictions. Thank you for believing that you can have a positive influence on the lives of the learners and families of our community. Because you can, and to Manufo, I say, you certainly have. I commend the board for its leadership in 2020. I commend the board for putting the health and safety of our community first and foremost, while making it a priority that we strive to provide the best education and support services possible. I have faith, knowing you both, that the board will continue to listen and make mindful decisions. I look forward to continuing to build our relationship as we work together to overcome the many challenges we will face in the year ahead. In unity, Paul Hagan, President, AFT 3267. Those are the two comments that I've received prior to the meeting. So, we have one here, Mr. Ali, as a member of the public, would like to speak.
Thanks so much, Superintendent Vidales. I'll keep my remarks short. Hopefully I'll have much more time to speak with both of these wonderful trustees going forward. But I'll start with Trustee Jordan. You know, all the accolades that have been rained down on you, I figured that out within about 5 minutes of speaking to you. When you came to me with your intent to just have, you know, a higher standard for the students in the schools. And that's the key for a board member, is to help provide a high quality education for all students. So I knew right away that it was my chance to retire. So thank you so much. It was a difficult decision for me to, you know, retire, but I wanted to retire from the board while having a lot of victories, and, you know, 2 terms was enough. But I was willing to stay on for another term, excuse me, until I met you. So I'll just leave it there. And then Manufo is, you know, similar. The first time that I approached her from, you know, some coaxing from Superintendent Vidales, we both really reached out to her and asked for her to, you know, run for the school board. And at that time, she said she wasn't ready. And I just remember saying to her, well, when you're ready, you'll know. And, you know, we weren't going to give up. So that time came, and she knew that was, you know, her calling was to come and add her value to our board. And she's been so much of a mediator, a spiritual advisor, public speaking coach. I mean, I can just go on and on and on, all the things that you brought to the board. So thank you so much. And I'm glad that you both have been elected to the board.
Ms. Manio, would it be okay if I just spoke a couple of words? Okay. So, Ms. Liahina, I know how much taking the oath means to you. And I do remember the first time you took the oath, and it's very special, and it means multiple things. It means you're standing up for your community, you're standing up for those who have come before us and have set our example. And I thank you for doing that. And Ms. Jordan, thank you so much for being willing to run for school board and represent the interests of our students and our families. I know you've got two, you've got a big one and you've got a little one with us. And we appreciate you being willing to look out for them and their classmates and their community in this role. And I know you've suffered a recent loss yourself. And I know that there's nothing that would make a parent prouder than to see someone elected to office. So thank you. Ms. Manio, would you like to ask if either of the two board members would like to say some words before we move on to the next item? Ms. Liahina or Ms. Jordan, would you like to say a few words?
Wiping their tears.
Yep, and they're muted too. So I don't know. Are you going to pass? Are you going to?
I was going to do the alphabetical order thing, since that's our protocol. So I was passing over to Andrea. I don't know if you want to go first, Andrea, or if you'd like me. Okay. I'm just trying to keep my composure. I'm shaking. This election was hard. It was difficult. It was a tough race. It really was. Nothing's guaranteed. When I decided to jump back in and consider running for another term, the decision to do so didn't come easy. The beginning of this year was tough for me and my family. On January 5th, my heart was broken into pieces. And I never thought I would be able to pull myself together to jump back in and do the work that I believe in. But I want to thank every single person who stood and told the line with me. I want to thank every single heart that prayed for me and with me to stay in this race. I've shared with many of you, it was difficult to be in the trenches during times of adversity. People were coming out of the woodwork to show who they were. But it defined the journey for me because I had to show who I was and what I was made of and what I come from. And I'm proud to come from strong warriors who have paved the path for me to be here tonight. I'm proud to be born from parents and raised by people who have made sure that this opportunity came to fruition. I want to thank my fellow colleagues on the board for the partnership, for the collective mindset that has allowed for us to have many victories as shared by our past president, Ali. I want to thank each and every person on this call that has encouraged me to take on this challenge and be vulnerable, because it takes courage and bravery to say, I'm going to put myself out there. There's tons of naysayers, but we need people to stand up and say yes to do this work and to be committed. And I'm honored to say that that is someone who ran and won this race with me, my fellow newly elected trustee, Andrea Jordan. I, like President Ali, when I first met her, I felt the fire that she was bringing to this board. So when she committed to jumping in the race, I was honored to support her efforts. I believe together as a board and as a community, we can continue to figure out how to do this work and do it safely, because our communities, our students deserve a quality public education. And we are required to be held accountable to do our job and to do it with integrity, dignity, and respect. While we may not always agree, we need to always make sure that we serve with respect and common decency. So tonight, this is a win for our community. To all of my brothers and sisters, to all of my nieces and nephews who weathered each day and stood out on the corners with me, at the gas stations, on the corners, who were yelled at, who were called names, who had nice finger gestures and didn't respond because Auntie said not to. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for committing yourself to me and this journey. For every brown girl who was told she couldn't do it, look to me and Andrea and see us stand tall. Tonight is your night. God bless you all. Thank you to our superintendent, State Superintendent of Instruction, for having faith in me, Senator Weiner for your endorsement and support, Supervisor Canepa, who made sure that I got my paperwork on time in 2015 to be here today. I want to thank you all. And I want to thank Sister Isha Mock, who adorned me throughout my campaign with this beautiful lei. If you saw me standing on the corner, I felt royal. This is my culture. This is what I bring. This is ethnic studies. This is us. This is community. So let's do it. Congratulations again to my fellow trustee, and thank you. Thank you to my colleagues on the board and to our superintendent and our administrators, and to my beloved brother coming in from Las Vegas. I love you.
Okay, I'm kind of ready now. Thank you, Manufo, for honestly just all of the support and, you know, everything that you've done for our community, and honestly walking me through all this process. When I first talked to Shaquille, honestly, just really about what I was going through and what I could do and how I could help make it better. I didn't think that he would be convincing me to join the school board. So thanks, Shaquille. But, you know, and I agree, you know, it was a rough election. I didn't realize I was going to have to campaign. I didn't realize that I was going to have to pivot the type of campaigning I was going to be doing during a pandemic, not being able to talk to people and touch, you know, shake hands, which is just human nature. And so, you know, I'm so grateful to have been able to have support from my family, from my friends, my dad, who I just lost. And I told myself I was not going to cry during this Zoom call. And, you know, I know that he's looking down on me, both him and my mom. They're looking down on me, and they know that I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing this not only for their grandchildren, but for all of the children in our district, because they are the future. And if we do not put them first now, our future will not be as bright as it should be. And so, you know, I want to thank everyone on this call. I believe that supported me, that believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. You know, to my campaign manager, Rosie, I could not have done this without you. You are the epitome of a strong woman, and I look forward to doing what you're doing on the high school board here on our elementary school board. And Clayton, thank you so much for being up at 7 a.m., 6 a.m. On the corners, waving signs, you know, getting people to honk their horns. I am extremely honored that the community chose me to support and advocate for them. And I really look forward to bringing a positive voice and energy to this table, working with each and every one of you. And I cannot actually forget my job, Armanino, where our entire partnership really supported me through this, me having to work part-time a little bit because I am homeschooling technically. I'm a virtual teacher now with my kids. And so I'm just super grateful for the support from everyone and super honored to be a part of this. And I look forward to the next 4 years and beyond. Thank you.
I think that concludes this item. Ms. Manio, I do have a request from some of our guests who are on this call. If it'd be possible to move item 8 to right after the approval of the agenda, that would be appreciated.
Congrats again to our two new and re-elected board members, and we're moving on to the approval of the agenda. Does anybody want to make a motion? Oh, just kidding. Item 5. We're going to be going over our governance team meeting guidelines. I just want to take a moment to remind our board members and mention to our newest one that it's the district's aim and the board's aim to abide by these guidelines. Great. Well, then we'll move on to item 6, approval of the agenda. I will take a motion with the amendment.
I'll make motion to approve the agenda with the amendment moving up item 8 before item 7.
Second the motion. Oh.
Good. All those in favor, thumbs up and aye.
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 Is that unanimous? I didn't see, sorry. Okay, great, unanimous. So we moved item 8 up to special presentation and a recognition. And I'm sad to say, but I'm glad to see that he's continuing to move forward and up in his life and his career. Our retiring board member, Mr. Shakil Ali.
So yeah, it is a bittersweet moment to both celebrate Mr. Ali's career and contributions with our school district, and also to call it to a close for now. It's not permanent. It's just the decision for this term. That's how I look at it. Shakil, you came onto the board soon after I became superintendent. We had our first conversation a few weeks after I was superintendent, and I knew then what I continue to know now, that you are a strong advocate for public education, for our students, for equity, and all of the many conversations that we've had over the years. I felt a strong partnership and alignment with you and me, and I know I will miss you on the board, not just in the professional capacity, but personally. You know, I want to say we grew up together because we've learned so much in the last 9 years, and I appreciate you and everything that you've brought to the board during this time, and you will be greatly missed. I know you will be in the wings, providing support wherever you can, so thank you for that. I don't know, Ms. Manio, if other board members have some words, and if after members of the public speak, I do have a presentation and a recognition for Mr. Ali.
Would any of the board members like to speak?
I would. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. I just wanted to say to Shakil, thank you so much for serving. You've been a lot of help in many, many ways, and he has always looked at education as being number one. And I'm glad to also say that when he started with the board many years ago, it was his goal to be a teacher and to be working with special ed. And I have to say, I'm proud of all that you've done and proud of what you have accomplished throughout the years. And I will always remember you as a very special board member. And so I was blessed to be able to serve with you.
Thank you, Trustee Brizuela. Yes, Trustee Liahina and Onoahi.
Thank you. I definitely want to share a few words. And of course, I always mess this up. I'm sorry. Before I begin on highlighting many of the wonderful moments I've shared with Shakil Ali, former President Ali, I was remiss to mention my gratitude for Mayor Manalo and also our Councilwoman DeGiovanni and Trustee Ochipinti. And I see that we also have Assemblymember Ting on, so thank you. But really, tonight is a night to celebrate the many years of service and commitment that you've not just dedicated here to the board, but in the community. You've always made sure that representation was inclusive, was conversations that don't always happen. And many times people don't have the courage to have that conversation to ensure that people are tapped to be in spaces where we're never seen. But it has always been important to you, and the way you walk and the way you move is to ensure that everyone is seen and everyone is served. And I will never forget that about you, because I see you doing that now in other spaces. And I see you continuing to elevate all of our communities in the way that you will advocate for them and for all of us. I appreciate our partnership on many initiatives. We got to celebrate youth cinema. That's aligned with ethnic studies. We just saw City Council approve our housing project. That's all something that you've been a part of since I've been here. We built a school. TRP had a whole new section. That's kind of unheard of now. Those were things that you were a part of, your heart was a part of, and I learned so much from you. And I know that I would not be here today if it weren't for you. And I owe you much gratitude, because you had confidence in me and you made sure that I got in this race and I stayed in this race. And I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the community, staying in the trenches and serving alongside, because I see you continuing to do this work, and I see many more things to come. So thank you, God bless you.
Thank you, Trustee Fow. Would any of the other members? Yes, Mr. Cooper.
I want to echo everybody else. I want to say thank you for being just a great school board member to work with. I remember when I first joined the school board like 5 years ago. I remember I was like taking time to talk to you and just figure out how to be a good school board member. And I remember one of the important things you always mentioned was do your homework. Make sure you know what you're talking about before every meeting. And if you didn't know, ask in advance. And even if you did know, ask questions during the meetings, so that even if we were more informed, at least the community was also informed as well too. And I've always never forgotten that. So I just want to say thank you for even just that word of wisdom. And even just along the way too, from every meeting, I know that you would always be the one willing to ask the tough questions, even if they weren't the most comfortable questions, to at least get more information out there, so that when it came down to actually making a decision, we actually had everything we needed. When it comes down to sort of advancing ethnic studies, figuring out why sometimes suspension rates were higher for some groups versus others, looking at the budget, figuring out what we can do to provide more money for our classrooms, and also figuring out how best to sort of tie student success with all these other metrics. I just want to say thank you for all that you did to make me a better school member, as well as I'm sure everybody else in our community just a little bit more informed and more knowledgeable about what's going on in our community. So I want to say thank you again so much.
Thank you, Trustee Koo, for those words. And Trustee Andrea, do you have anything to say?
Yes, I want to say thank you, Shaquille, for convincing me to move forward and run for the board, and everything that you've done, all of the insight that you gave me, and honestly, what you're going to continue to do. I have your number now. I'm going to be asking you, what do I do next? Now that you're not a part of the Brown Act, I can't. So, so I just want to say thank you. Congratulations on moving on to the next thing. You're going to continue to do amazing things in our community, and we appreciate you for that. Thank you.
I'd also like to say something, and I'll just be very direct. I'm gonna miss you, man. I'm gonna miss just vibing out with you and talking about our shared visions and dreams for our communities and the nation, and truly humbled by the presence of your tenacity, your perseverance, and your sacrifice to our district. You've definitely been an integral part of my growth on this board. I believe you're a true artist of creation, formulating ideas and such. So our work is not done. I look forward to continuing working with you in the near future. Thank you, President Ali. Are we taking comments from the public?
Yeah, there's members of the public who are in our meeting today. If you would raise your hand. I do know that Supervisor David Canepa would like to speak. He's got another engagement to run to after this.
Okay, thank you so much, Shaquille. God, you were elected in 2011, the son of Marion Reed Brown from Midway. You know, the thing that always amazed me about Shaquille was he's been in school and education settings, but he's always been an entrepreneur. I mean, he's always Ripple Effects, Ask Academy, really just bringing it every day. But I think the thing that really impresses me about Shaquille is how much he cares for the kids and mentoring and doing all these trainings and then teaching as a substitute in high school, then being a high school teacher. He was one of the few that actually did the work. And so Shaquille, on behalf of the County of San Mateo, and I see my good friend, Assemblymember Phil teeing up next, I hope, we just wanna thank you with a proclamation, a resolution signed by all the board members. We've declared it Shaquille Ali Day. So in the County of San Mateo. Now don't go crazy now, it's not gonna, don't go crazy on me, but yeah, this is for all your work. And I do want to recognize, before I let you go, probably the longest tenured school board member in the history of San Mateo County, Marie Brizuela. Clayton Koo, thank you for all you do. Maybell, doing a solid job. So continue the legacy that Shaquille has left with the district, and we'll continue to ascend to new heights. Thank you so much, Shaquille. Really appreciate all your wonderful work.
Thank you, Supervisor Canepa. Assemblymember Phil Ting, you've requested to speak. Would you like to speak now?
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. I just wanted to echo Supervisor Canepa's congratulations to Shaquille. Thanks so much for your almost a decade of service to this school district. It's just incredible. I've always thought that being a school board member is the toughest elected job there is. You don't have control of your money. You have families that are very passionate about education. They care about everything that you do. And they're also able to let you know about it because they're going to stop you whenever they see you on the street, in the grocery store, when you're, shopping at Saramonte. I'm sure there's always someone's going to give you an opinion. So, Andrea, something to look forward to. You're not going to have a peaceful weekend anymore. But you did it, and you always knew what you were in it for. You fought to make sure our schools were getting repaired and updated. You led the fight on ethnic studies, which I'm so thankful for. I'm a product of ethnic studies, and I definitely wouldn't have the career I have without ethnic studies. So thank you for doing that earlier. I didn't study ethnic studies like many of us until college. So to be able to study it in high school or even earlier in middle school, elementary school is so important. I mean, ethnic studies should really be part of our studies, period. We shouldn't even have to do ethnic studies. It should just be part of the curriculum. So I know that is something you take an enormous amount of pride in. And so you can definitely look back on your time on this school board and see what you've done, what you've been able to accomplish. And I know that you're not anywhere close to done. You have a lot of work that you want to continue to do. And we're going to look forward to watching your career as you continue to grow. Let me just do two quick congratulations. Congratulations to Andrea. Welcome to the board. You ran a great campaign, and I know with you're heavily invested in the school district, given you have 2 kids in the district, and I know that your parent perspective every week is going to be welcome. And I really hope you enjoy your time serving. I know that you're going to be able to bring a great perspective to this district. And let me just also congratulate Manufu. Congratulations on your reelection. I know it's been a challenging year. You definitely have persevered through a significant amount of adversity. I know this year has been been challenging for all of us, but you've done it with, a great amount of grace and been able to get through it with grit and determination, at the same time still be able to serve this incredible district. So thank you for your service. Thank you for stepping up and getting reelected. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to work with you. I know that, one of your focus is making sure that the PI community is represented and constantly talking about the very unique issues in your community. And I continue to, want to support you in that. It's a community that often gets overlooked in so many ways, in so many places. And so thank you for stepping up to the plate and taking time out of your family, taking time out of your personal life to really continue to be a leader. So thank you and congratulations to all of you.
Let's see. Council member, Ms. Pamela DiGiovanni, would you like to speak now?
Yes, thank you, Superintendent. Well, Shaquille, President Shaquille, which I'm happy to say, I want to say to people that many have known him prior to his being on the board, but he has always been true to himself and true to your values. You have never, ever mistook or misstepped in what you believe in. When you believe in something, when you have goals, you've always focused on them and you end up achieving them with integrity, achieving them with your intellect, your compassion, your heart. And I guess your mom would take a little bit of credit for that. I know you're probably hopefully smiling about that. But ever since I've known you, known everything you've gone through, everything you stand for, again, it's incredible. And if I could not go through tonight without mentioning your influence that you had on Joseph. I know that tonight he would be also proud of you, Melinda Dart, and all those that knew him, and know that you were a great influence. You were a breaker of seeing a person of color like that on our board. You always stood with so much integrity, always trying to get to that equity point, but doing it with such class and such intellect and such care. So I know it's not the last time we'll talk, and appreciate the influences that you have and that you left at that school board, as Trustee Foe had called out, with the ethnic studies that you fought for, with everything else, the new school, and I won't go repeat, but things that people don't know about in your daily lives, your conversations that you have with people, those really matter. Those really matter because you speak truth. And I like that. And you'll never change that. And that is so refreshing in these days and times, dealing with all so much. So I know that you are standing on your ground, and whatever you stand for will happen. Proud you went and got your special education that you wanted. And like Bernie says, you never know what doors will open again. So happy to call you, friend, and bless you and your family, and happy holidays. And thank you for all you have done, all you continue to do, and whatever your future holds. So thank you, President Ali. It's an honor that you have served for this many years. And thank you to the board as well. Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you, Ms. DiGiovanni. We have a hand raised from Honorable Trustee from our partner district, Jefferson Union High School District, Mr. Nick Ochapinti. Would you like to speak now?
Yes, thank you. President Ali, what can I say that people haven't already said? So congratulations on the next step and the next stage of your career. It's like people have said, it's hard to see you doing anything outside of the community, in the sense that you're always working on something. I've done that for a very long time. You've been an inspiration to me. Since I was in college, when I met you there, I realized that I have a long way to go in terms of the work I want to do in education, the work I want to do in the community, and to pursue a vision. And I think the kind of dedication that we have to our community is rare because a lot of people don't always come back to the community, and especially places outside of San Francisco or other cities where that attention and that dedication is needed and appreciated. So that kind of service doesn't go unnoticed. And it certainly is an inspiration to everybody here who is dedicated to doing that work here in our community. I mean, I could go down a list of things that you've done, but they've been mentioned, Youth Center Project, ethnic studies, your work as a teacher, not only a student in the district, but as a teacher, as a parent, a trustee, and of course, serving various roles on board, ultimately as president multiple times, speaks to the volume of the work you're doing and the longevity of it and the impact that has. And as somebody who is, also a product of the community and all these things, I aspire to do the kind of things you're doing and will continue to do, I'm sure. Joseph Waters is definitely watching us tonight. And I wouldn't be where I am doing what I'm doing if it weren't for you either. So on that note, glad that you're continuing to be a part of this and an inspiration to the current board as well. And sending the right message to our students, which is, doing the right thing when it counts and where it counts and for the right reasons. Thank you, Jackie.
I don't see any more hands raised from folks that are in the meeting. We do have several comments that were submitted, and I would ask Mr. Koo, I noticed that you are on the document too. Would you mind reading those comments with me?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, why don't you start with the first one and I'll take the second one.
The first comment here is from Melinda Dart, retired teacher and co-chair AFT 3267. Shaquille Ali, you'll be greatly missed on the JESD board. Thank you for stepping up and running. Thank you for your advocacy for the families and students of the district. And thank you for listening to teachers, employees, hearing concerns, and making difficult, balanced decisions throughout good times and bad. I've greatly valued your compassion, thoughtfulness, and calmness throughout the years. Thank you for your dedication. I look forward to seeing you continue to serve the community in other capacities in the future. Best wishes to you always.
We have another comment from Anushka Takla, teacher. Dear Trustee Ali, thank you for your dedication and service to the Jefferson Elementary School District community. For years, we've heard you pose challenging questions to this governing board and the district leadership. You've sought creative solutions for times when it was difficult for us to come together. In my opinion, you have embodied the definition of a true partner in a labor management team. Knowing that you are a strong voice for equity in public education, I hope to see your name again on a future ballot in which you seek another position to continue your advocacy. Sincerely, Anushka Takla, 4th grade teacher, member of AFT 3267.
Next speaker is Paul Hagen, teacher and CFT president. Shaquille, on behalf of the certificated employees of JESD, it brings me sadness to be addressing you this evening on your final meeting as a member of our governing board. You started your time on the board in less than ideal situations. There were difficulties making important decisions in a timely and collaborative manner. There was quarreling between board members and a few harsh words. You joined the board as a stabilizing force, and from the beginning, you modeled patience, respect, and forthright honesty. I know there have been times that you saw things differently than the union did, but you always listened and were transparent in your thoughts, feelings, and motives. I know that you and past President Melinda Dart met regularly and had many open and honest conversations at the time you worked together. I've always known that I had your ear every time it was useful or necessary. We'll miss your calm, your sense of humor, and your quiet compassion. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for making a difference. Strength to your arm. Paul Hagen, President AFT 3267.
The final submitted comment is from Ms. Rachel Paget, 4th grade teacher, AFT 3267 executive board member. Congratulations to Trustee Shaquille for his service on the Jefferson Elementary School Board. Mr. Ali has been a strong advocate for the students and families of Daly City, as well as for teachers in the Jefferson Elementary School District. We so appreciate his good work. AFT 3267 wishes him all the best in the future. So those are the final written submitted comments. I don't know if we have any more comments from anybody in the meeting. Mr. Valenti.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Just congratulations, Andrea, Manufo. Looking forward to continue our work together. Shaquille, it's so great to see, you moving on to something new and exciting. I remember our first time meeting when you were substituting over Policita, and that same calm continued throughout all the meetings we shared together. And I look forward to continuing to work with you in other capacities moving forward. Great. Best of luck to you. Thank you.
We do have a request to speak from Ms. Christine Fuller, who's joined our meeting. I don't know if she's connected yet to audio. Well, we will wait. Shaquille, I do have something to present to you on behalf of the district. Every time we do have a board president stepping down, we often have a small gift to commemorate that year of service. We will wait. Shaquille, I do have something to present to you.
What happened?
I don't know. Let me see what happened here.
Well, you're back.
I'm back. That's the best part of it. So I don't know what happened. Okay, so let's see. Is Ms. Fuller, is she available to speak right now? And I'll see if I can try to figure out my technical difficulties on my end while she speaks or comment. Ms. Fuller, are you here? Okay, she's not. I'm going to try this one more time to share the screen. Otherwise, I'll just have to describe what it is we have for you. Okay, that seemed to work. All right. Anyway, it's not going to work. This is a borrowed computer. My other one broke down. So Mr. Ali, and maybe Ms. Joyner, you can share your screen. We do have a plaque for you. Ms. Joyner can show you, if we were in person, we would be handing this to you. So Ms. Joyner, if you can share the picture of the plaque, that would be great. This is to commemorate your year as board president. It's a gavel, as you requested, and it does have both your name and a small inscription there. Says, in recognition of outstanding leadership as president of the Board of Trustees, 2019-20. Thank you for your dedicated service as a trustee of the governing board of the Jefferson Elementary School District from 2011 to 2020. And so this sort of serves as both. I know you enjoy the gavel, and you do have to return the one that you borrowed for last year. This is your own now. We can switch when you come by and pick up your plaque. The other gift that we have, I try to do a little personal gift when a board member leaves the board. Ms. Joyner, if you could find the picture of the pen. Trying to figure out another gift is always difficult. If we were in person, of course, you would get a bouquet of flowers. But today, we found this little lapel pin here that is being shown. Can you maximize this or zoom in on that so we can see it? It's sort of a depiction of our district logo. It's children from around the world holding hands around the globe, and we hope that you can find opportunities to wear it when you want to share in your memories of Jefferson Elementary School District. And it'll, I almost got one for myself too, and I may still. So I hope you appreciate that and you enjoy wearing that. Before you speak your words, Mr. Ali, I think Ms. Fuller made it back onto the meeting, but perhaps she didn't. Okay, well, we'll let you continue and finish up.
Thank you very much. I could talk all night long, but I won't. I've talked enough over the 9 years, and but I want to just first start from the beginning of the story. Starts with my mom. She ran for school board in Bayshore years ago, and I think I was in my early 20s, probably about 20 years old, and really didn't understand what she was doing, and just moved on and went to school and started working and creating businesses. And excuse me, the next part of the story starts with Adam Duran, who past board president and also my childhood friend who grew up in Midway Village in Bayshore, just as I did. And he was actually president of the board when I started substitute teaching for the district. And he moved because of the high rent prices, basically, in the Bay Area. And before he moved, he, had been talking to me about possibly running for the board. And Melinda Dart was a part of those conversations. So it was actually a 2-year period that I was saying no. So that's why I kind of tease the two newly elected trustees about, how they got on the board. But I had a similar experience, and being on the board was the last thing on my mind. I was happy being an education consultant, going around the country, and then just substitute teaching here and there. But Melinda Dart never gave up. And honestly, it was based on just my words and my actions, but words that I was putting on social media, just about high quality education for all students and equity, and just my thoughts about education. And I didn't know at that time, but I was speaking the language of a board member. And so needless to say, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And these 9 years, like Superintendent Vidal said, I feel like I have grown up and progressed as a professional educator, even though I've been in education since 1989, but being on the school board and learning from my colleagues and all the professional development that we undertook really helped me progress. And one thing I want to leave everyone with is something that Hans Hansen, rest his soul, said to me the very first night when I was elected. He said, "Can you sparkle?" So I looked at him and I said, "I guess if you think I can sparkle, I better do it then." So that's my advice to you, Andrea, is get on here, get on the board and sparkle. And now that you've taken that oath and you're on the board, you may be a new board member, but you're an equal. All of you are equals on the board and have something very valuable to bring to the table. I don't want to take much more time, and I honestly, I could go person by person and just tell stories all night. But I want to at least acknowledge Marie Brizuela for all her years and, all the conversations that we've had. And, and it's no secret that we haven't agreed on everything, but we never, ever doubted each other's love for the students and love for the community. And, people know that I will defend you to the end of the earth about that. So it's been great working with all of you. And I, definitely want to work with you as a community member in the future. And thanks.
So we finally have had success with Ms. Fuller. So Ms. Fuller, if you would like to speak a few words here, you just made it. You do need to unmute though, so we can hear you.
It's been one day, let me tell you. Good evening, honorable board trustees of JESD, Marie Brizuela, Shaquila Lee. And I want to congratulate first and foremost Maniful, Sis, and Andrea Jordan. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit shaky. I had a 2-for-1 COVID positive family members at one time. So please forgive me, but I still wanted to come on and congratulate both of you on an outstanding election. I think they were actually the highest numbers that I've ever seen. And I wouldn't miss this opportunity to address you, Shaquille. You have been stellar over the last 10 years. I thank you for every single moment of time that you've been there for the elementary school district. I think your board of trustees are outstanding. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort, specifically to be on this type of board. I think everybody says that, you know, it starts with the home, but it also starts with leaders such as yourself. So each and every one of you are, a pillar in the community and for so many that want to be just like you. So Bernie, I really thank you for this opportunity to congratulate my sis Moniful. And Andrea and Shaquille, I wish you 100% the best of success. And you had a hell of a run for that city council seat, but best is yet to come for you. And I didn't want to miss this opportunity to wish you well on your outgoing tenure. But I know Andrea, you know, she will definitely do you proud with your seat. And Sis Fo speaks for herself. And Marie Brizuela, you're a pillar and an icon yourself. Mabel Magno, I wish all of you the best of success for our children. And if anybody ever needs anything, I'm always here. Many thoughts and prayers for each one of you. I know how it is for my sis Fo and Andrea to lose loved ones, and it wasn't easy. But the community, we got you through because we love you, we trust you, and we care for you. So I really thank each and every one of you from the top and bottom of my heart for all you do. As a former commissioner of the county myself for 12 years. I thank you and I wish everyone the best of success. I had a hell of a time getting on this Zoom, Bernie. Somebody just gave it to me at the last second. So, you know, forgive my tears, but, you know, COVID's real, people. Be safe. And I love each and every one of you. Take care, Shaquille.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Christine Fuller.
All right, Bernie.
Yeah. Mabel, that Ms. Manio, that concludes the public comments portion of this. Mr. Ali, we look forward to seeing you in the office. You can pick up your gifts and we can exchange gavels. That'd be great. Right.
Great, thank you all for your kind words. And yes, Mr. Ali, we will definitely be seeing you out in the community soon. And I hope you continue to stay safe and take good care of yourself. We are moving on to item 7. It was flipped to the governing board annual reorg. So the board each year is required under Education Codes 35022 and 35143 to elect a president and a clerk. Board Bylaw 9100 also specifies that a vice president shall be elected. The board shall also elect a representative and alternative for the county committee on school district organization, Education Code 35023. So I will now ask for nominations. Should I go by?
You can open nominations for president first.
Okay, open up the nominations for president.
I'd like to make a nomination.
Yes, trustee Liahina Anawai.
I would like to nominate trustee Maybell Magno for the seat of president for the upcoming school year.
Second.
You beat me to do. I'll third it.
I have a motion on the floor to elect me as the president by trustee Liahina Anawai and seconded by trustee Koo. Shall I take, is this a roll call or?
Yes, it is a roll call vote, and Ms. Varai can call the votes.
Okay, Ms. Kovarai, can I have a roll call, please, for this motion?
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Miss Jordan,
Aye.
Miss Liahina Anawai,
Aye.
and Miss Manio.
Aye. Okay, I am now your president. Thank you.
Good thing you have the annotated agenda. So, Ms. Mania, one of the things that came into regulation when Mr. Koo was president is that we announced the votes at the end to say unanimous, even though it was obvious. We do need to say it was a unanimous vote in favor of appointing you.
Okay, the vote was unanimous. I don't
you.
know if I can take some time to say a couple of words at this point before we move
Well,
on.
do you want to say words first, or do you want other board members to say words and then you say words?
Sure. Let board members say words then.
Okay.
I'll open it up to anybody, or shall I go?
I can speak.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to say that this is a great time for you. And I know you'll have the ability to lead us through as president of the board. And I'm very supportive of all that you've done. You've been an amazing school board member. So congratulations from me. And I know that the rest of the folks that are following me are going to say yes as well.
I'd like to say a few words. Nominating you came easy. You're a visionary. You definitely ask the difficult and challenging questions that many of us think of, but you're courageous enough to say them out loud to ensure that we are accountable and that we're serving as board trustees with transparency. And your compassion and your insight as a parent definitely is an asset for us during these challenging times. So thank you for your leadership and your commitment, and congratulations, President Magno.
I want to echo those comments as well too. I know that you'll do a great job, and we are a great team here, ready to help you out if anything does come up. So we're going to make sure that we can do all we can to at least help you run our board meetings as effectively as possible. So wishing you all the best, and as a former president, it's a tough job, but I know you can do it. So good luck.
Congratulations. I'm excited to join when you're becoming president. As a Ben Franklin parent to another Ben Franklin parent, I am excited to learn from you and to support you in your role as president. Congratulations again.
I'm truly humbled and appreciative of this vote of confidence. I don't take this role lightly, so I hope to continue to do right by the district and our community in an ethical, moral, and honorable fashion. And with that said, we're going to move on to.
So, Ms. Mania, one thing I forgot to say, the responsibility of the president is that tomorrow we do need you to come into the office and sign some very important papers. So I should have said that before you accepted the nomination. Okay.
Okay, I'll be there.
Okay.
Okay, and shall we move on to Vice President? Okay, I will take nominations for Vice President.
I want to nominate Ms. Liahina Anawai for the position of Vice President.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Shall we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Miss Jordan,
Aye.
Miss Liahina Anawai,
Aye.
and Miss Manio.
Definitely aye. Yay, congratulations. That vote was unanimous to Vice President Trustee Liahina Anawai. Do we have any comments by board members at this time?
I think, do we also have to nominate a clerk as well?
Yes.
Should we do that and then, I mean, I don't know.
Sure, we could do that.
However you like, Ms. Manio. As president, you get to decide. Comments
Okay.
now or comments later?
Let's, I guess let's go for clerk. Do we have any nominations for clerk?
I would like to nominate our new trustee, Andrea Jordan.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
You guys want to tell her how hard a job it is?
Yeah.
Tell her before she accepts.
Not hard at all.
You got this.
Yeah. You get to be a signatory for the board and certify decisions the board has made. So
Okay.
as long as you can make it into the district office every so often, that'd be great.
I'm up for the challenge.
Okay, great.
Great. We have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Miss Jordan,
Aye.
Miss Liahina Anawai,
Aye.
Miss Manio.
Aye. That vote was unanimous. Congratulations, Trustee Jordan, on your clerk position. And we are also voting for a representative to the county. I'll take nominations for the county committee.
I'd like to nominate Trustee Koo.
Second that. So we have a nomination and a second. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Miss Jordan,
Aye.
Miss Liahina Anawai,
Aye.
Miss Manio.
Aye. And that vote was unanimous. Congratulations, Trustee Koo. And we are going to also choose an alternate for the county committee. Do we have a nomination for that?
The reason we do choose an alternate is because often we just have a week's notice of when that committee is going to meet for their annual meeting. So want to make sure at least 2 people get a chance to go.
Got it. And I nominate Trustee Brizuela.
Sure, thank you. Yeah.
I heard a second. Can I get a roll call, Ms. Kovray?
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Miss Jordan,
Aye.
Miss Liahina Anawai,
Aye.
Miss Manio.
Aye, that vote was also unanimous. So congratulations to everybody and all their new positions. Yay, I know that we're gonna fill them with respect and honor. Do any of the board members have any comments?
Just to thank you again. I think that I see that Ms. Fuller had jumped off, but again, being reelected and being a part of this board trustee, I know that we can all relate that we're here because of those that support us in the work and who have allowed for us to be here because of their vote. So Ms. Fuller has jumped off. I really wanted to extend my thank you and a very special thank you to Trustee Brizuela. Before I came on this board, I've learned from you, being involved as a parent, and I continue to learn from you being in this seat. So thank you for your leadership. And congratulations again, President Manio.
And we don't have any comments from the public on this item.
Okay. Congratulations to you all. I
Excuse
look
me, we do. We do
Oh.
have one. Ms. Council Member Ms. DiGiovanni, would you like to speak now? And then following her, Ms. Mayor Jocelyn Manalo.
Thank you, Superintendent. I don't know what to say other than it's such a great board. Congratulations, Madam President. No surprise that you're going to take that leadership and you can continue us and lead the community, the school, the students, the families. I have great faith that you work collaboratively. You've already proven that, Ms. Maybell, Madam President. And I'm so thrilled that it's through these times that it's going to be with your great leadership, your compassion, your heart, and your little girl who happens to be that little girl that is a great influence. I remember that she actually wanted to get healthy foods in the school. So she is a future one to look out for as well. So congratulations. Looking forward and hope we can get past this COVID-21. 22, 23, whenever it ends. And for you, Vice President Foe, well, your leadership doesn't need much of a title, but the fact that you became Vice President after a re-election is well deserved because you have put so much into this and given everything, every drop of your being and everything you do. I see it, I hear it, I feel it throughout the community, and I know your heart. I know where you stand, and so you got 4 more years of these children at your helm, and I know that and the public education is going to be a continued fight for the funds, and that you guys will work collaboratively, and you got that connection with your superintendent, Tony Thurman, and you'll be up there fighting for the JESD and all those kids equally and for equity. I know that for all of you. So I wish you the best. Look forward to more to come, although great things have already come from both of you and to the county representatives, to the clerk, to Marie Brizuela, to Clayton Koo, to Andrea. This is a great chance as well. And you all bring so much to the table that we are in great hands. And Bernie, congrats to have such a great board, even though you're a great superintendent. It's always good to have a great board. So this is going to be times it was meant to be that all of you are sitting in those seats. I truly believe it. And this public education, you got my support. Whatever you need, you got me. All right, take care. Wish you all the best of the holidays for you and your families. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Blessings and love from my heart to yours, and with tears of happiness. Thank you very much for the evening. Thank you. Thank you, Bernie.
Mayor Manalo, would you like to speak now?
Thank you so much, Superintendent Vidales. I am coming from City Hall, and so I parked real quick. Therefore, I don't have my camera on, but I definitely didn't want to end the evening without saying congratulations to President Manio and Vice President Foe. I mean, really, this is tremendous to see women leadership at the helm and, you know, API women leadership for all of our communities. But seeing this happen is also a history in the evening and in the making around having a voice and representation. I know that you all care about our children, the staff, the teachers, and already seeing the fruits of your labor as we saw Superintendent Vidales at our meeting just the other day around the hard work that you guys are all doing to retain teachers, ensure there's quality education, and really support our young people in their elementary and education in Daly City. I definitely look forward to working with all of you. Congratulations also to your new clerk and your whole board. I'll know that. But having all of you at the forefront, caring for our students, really looking at equity, education, and finding ways to support all of our young people is tremendous. So I just want to say congratulations, looking forward to working with each and every one of you, and blessings and light to all of your families.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I believe Mr. Ali would like to say a few words. Yes.
Thanks. So, congratulations, President Manio. This is my first time getting to say that. And, you know, like you said, we vibed out, and there's no doubt in my mind that the city is so lucky to have you now as the, you know, the district, I should say, because we have to include Colma and Broadmoor, right?
Yes.
So the district is just really blessed to have you at the helm. I know that I have a lot of ideas, but you're one of those people that has ideas, and you're going to implement the idea too and make it happen and get down to it, research, call the right people, bring people to the table that need to be there, you know. So it's going to be amazing to see what you and Trustee Liahina Onoahi will be able to do in those leadership roles, and with the support of the other board members. So congratulations once again. And, you know, it would be very negligent for me to not thank Maria Covare for, I mean, all the work that she's done. I mean, lean on her. I know you already know, President Manio, but lean on her. She saves us in so many ways, proactively and retroactively. So have fun with it, and I know you'll do a great job.
Thank you. I know those are some big shoes to fill, but you know, we will do great. Thank you for that. At this time, I'd like to ask any of the board members for their acknowledgements or commendations that they'd like to express now. Yes, Mr. Coop.
I wanted just to commend this Superintendent Vidalis, Mr. Heath, and everybody in the district, as well as architects, for this past Monday, to get approved our faculty and workforce housing project. I know it's been in the works for many years, so just want to commend you guys for all your hard work on getting that done, and hope that we get to break ground soon and actually have teachers and staff actually get to live in those apartment units, so that we can actually help actually afford to live where they actually work. So very excited for that, and just want to commend all of you guys for a job well done. I also wanted, just this time of the year, I know 2020 has been extremely tough for everybody. So I just want to give my thanks to a variety of people, from teachers, doctors, nurses, frontline workers, including grocery store workers, small businesses, restaurants, everyone out there trying to make 2020 feel a little bit more like a regular 2020. I just want to give my thanks to everybody out there for doing the hard work so that we all get to at least feel a little more a normal way of life. So I just want to say thanks. Wish everybody happy holidays, and hope to see you guys all again in 2021.
Thank you. Ms. Persuela, did you have something?
Well, I just wanted to thank everybody for working so hard. And yes, it was a tough year for everyone. Somehow I've seen, even though they have masks on, I've seen smiles in many of the people saying that we can get through all of this together. So I also would like to thank all those who worked hard for the safety and, you know, just helping people in need. And that goes for people that invite someone over and give them food to eat. It broke my heart when I heard one person say, if you have leftovers from Thanksgiving, we'll take them. Now that's pretty sad. We need to be able to help the people in need, whether it's donating food, donating anything that we can do to help somebody in need. And sometimes those are the people that won't ask for it, but we should try to do what we can to help everybody at all times. And we start with the children, and what we show the children, what we do, they will follow our footsteps as well. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but I think we need to all remember there are some people out there that really need our help.
Thank you, Ms. Brizuela. Trustee Jordan?
I just want to say that I am truly honored just to even be here today. I'm so excited to learn. I'm really happy to hear that workforce housing got pushed through. I'm excited to help move so many things forward. I know ethnic studies kind of got stopped with COVID, and so I'm excited to get that back up and running and really just doing what we can for our community, working together. I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited to learn so much from each and every one of you on the board. Thank you.
And Vice President Onoahi?
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I especially would like to extend my thank you to our City Council for recognizing two of our students at this past council meeting. For their representation and their leadership and their service in our JESD community. And I really appreciate that our administrators took the time to ensure that we were able to find our students to be submitted, to be considered. It's very important that we're able to recognize our students and their commitment, especially during these times. We need to have moments like that we can celebrate and be happy about. But this is a good time for us. I'm excited, despite the challenges that we will face during the pandemic. We have such a great board with an addition of another great leader. And thank you again. And I want to commend our past president, Ali, for your continued service and really your grit that has opened the door for us to be able to do a lot of the things that we're celebrating today. So I too hope that we can continue to be safe, adhere to the protocols that are in place. It's going to take for us to model all that we speak to ensure that we get through this together. And I want to thank all of our teachers, all of our families, all of our students who we know who have communicated how overwhelmed they are. And I hope that we can continue to figure out the well-being of our staff and how we can continue to figure out how to reopen safely. So thank you for your commitment and your sacrifices to ensure that our children are receiving quality education. That is what we're committed to do here. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve in that capacity. So happy holidays to all of you. Stay safe and be well. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President. I also want to share the same sentiment as my fellow board members and comment that it's been quite a year. There's been a lot of lost jobs, lost lives, even some lost hope. And I know that through our grief and our struggle that we highlight and ourselves and our resilience. This truly is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And I also want to acknowledge Superintendent Vidales for representing us at the council meeting in a very positive and great light, not just the project, but the board and the district as well as a whole. I also want to say kudos to, I don't know who it is, but the person that created the Calm Zoom room for us. It's those little things that mean so much. So I know that, you know, some of our teachers go through a lot on a day-to-day and routine basis, and we often don't see it, but we do acknowledge it and commend it. So Superintendent Vidales, do you have any comments?
Yeah, just a few. So that Zoom room we did borrow from another school district, but we did make it our own. And thanks to our program director for student services, Ms. Stephanie Martinez, we were able to bring it onto our website. And I do hope that it is used. I know sometimes I want to use it, but then I forget. So, which means I should probably go use it. So, but I think it is a good resource, especially during this time of anxiety provoking events. As you know, we found out midday today that the County of San Mateo, as part of the Bay region, have now entered into the stay-at-home order because our ICU capacity has dipped below the 50% that needs to be available, which is concerning. It makes me not even want to get into a car because I don't know if there'll be room in an ICU if I need to get in there. So it really is important that we stay home, not just to prevent further transmission of the virus, but also to prevent possible accidents or other things that could happen that would take us into an ICU and take away that bed from somebody who needs it for recovering from COVID. And, you know, with that, I do hope that we all go shopping this weekend and buy enough food to keep us safe for 2 weeks and keep us full for 2 weeks for our families and, you know, stay home, enjoy our family, use Zoom so that we can see each other again in the new year and be able to be around to get the vaccine so that we can move on. So.
Superintendent Vidales, yes, definitely stay safe, everyone. I would like to see if there could be a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Items.
A motion and a second. Can I get an aye for approval?
Aye. Oh,
Aye.
thumbs.
Aye.
Yes, that was unanimous. Thank you all. The consent agenda is approved. Moving on to item 10C, the governing board meeting dates and the governance calendar for 2021. We will approve the proposed board meeting dates and governance calendar. Do I have a motion?
So before we make a motion, at the last meeting, there was some discussion about the January meeting. We were able to look at the calendar and see that we can either do January 13th or January 20th. So we would need to select that as part of the motion, determine which one we want to use.
Any discussion?
So that would be our regular time for meetings?
January 13th is the second Wednesday and January 20th is the third Wednesday.
I meant to say it's not a special, we're not holding a special meeting.
No, it would be
okay.
A board meeting. Yeah.
Okay. Either one is fine for me.
Same.
I'd like to make a motion to pass the proposed board meeting dates for 2021 with the exception of, or accepting January 13th.
Okay.
So would that mean making the meeting on January 13th?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Can I get a aye for approval with thumbs, please?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, that was unanimous. Thank you. We'll now move on to 10E, Superintendent Advisory Committee. The superintendent requests that board members indicate willingness and interest to serve as advisors from time to time to superintendent on issues relating to the areas below. These advisory committees serve as advisory alone, and any matter requiring board action or direction will be brought to the full board. So one is budget and facilities, the other is educational services, and it looks like 2 for each. Shall we have a discussion, or anybody want?
Yeah, and this is not an item for action. It's just a conversation among those of you who are here. If you have an interest, again, they make no decisions. And we meet maybe once a year in each committee. And I know this last year, I don't even know if we did that because of the COVID situation. But sometimes there's things that come before that superintendent and cabinet would like some board input on before it comes to the rest of the board to see what else might need to be addressed.
So we can voice which one we might want to serve on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it breaks up pretty evenly, so.
Yeah. Well, 4 and 4 is not 5.
Yeah. Usually there's one that's happy to pass.
Okay. Okay. So I'd be interested in either one of them, whichever.
I'd be interested in the budget and facilities one.
I'd also be interested in budget and facilities as well.
Okay, so there's 2 that wants that, so I'll just stay with the educational services then.
Is there another board member who would be interested in serving as an advisor on issues around educational services, which includes preschool, special education, student services, curriculum and instruction?
I'll jump in.
Okay. It's wonderful. Okay, this doesn't require a vote. Of course, anything that requires a vote in any of these issues will come to the full board. And this advisory committee is just a lens for administration to use to know what might be missing or what needs to be explained further. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, item 10F, scheduling of board reports. The board will discuss.
Mania, did we skip 10D by chance?
We did skip 10D, and I apologize, Ms.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I didn't circle it for you.
Okay.
It wasn't circled, sorry.
She was being very good and following the annotations that I made, and I forgot to circle that one. So 10D.
Okay, sorry, 10D. We'll go back to that. 10D, the reorganization of district board subcommittees. So the board will consider the composition of existing subcommittees and appoint 1 to 2 board members as representatives to the district/board subcommittees. And they are Parent Involvement Advisory Committee, 1 for PIAC, 1 for Wellness, 2 for City of Daly City/Colma and other local partnerships, 2 for Jefferson Union High School District and local elementary school districts, and 2 for board policies.
I'd like to put my name in, if I could, for the City of Daly City, Colma, and other local partnerships.
Can we nominate ourselves?
Well, we're asking who would like to serve on it, weren't we?
So usually
that's how it's been.
Yep, exactly. So folks can share what they're interested in, and then at the end make a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Vidalis, would you be able to just give like a refresher, and just for us as well as our new trustee, just sort of what each of the committee does?
Yeah, gladly. So the Parent Involvement Advisory Committee is a committee that's comprised of at least 1 parent from every school site. The aim is to get at least 1. And district staff, some administrators, and 1 board member. Over the years, that committee has evolved, and most recently it serves truly as an advisory committee on district issues, and specifically on the local control accountability plan. It meets several times a year, depending on the time of year, sometimes more often than other times. The next one is wellness, and that committee is responsible for updating and implementing the district wellness policy. I think that wellness committee last year was in the midst of revising the wellness policy, and because of COVID, it didn't get finished. So that would be the task of the committee moving forward. The city of Daly City, Colma, and other local partnerships, whenever there's a need or a desire to meet with representatives from either of these other agencies, 2 members from our board, 2 members of their city council, or their board, if it's a local partnership, would meet to discuss the issues at hand. Issues that might come up might be issues around facilities usage. I know that was on the docket, but again, was put off when we pivoted to deal with the pandemic. But there's a variety of issues that can come up for that. Similarly, the next committee, the Jefferson Union High School District and other local elementary school districts, same thing. Sometimes there are initiatives that we want to approach together, or topics that we want to discuss between representatives from the 2 boards. So be 2 from our board and 2 from their board to have this conversation. Sometimes it might be 3 districts, so each sending 2 people to have a conversation if there's a joint effort that's being considered. And the last one is board policies. This one is serves as an additional eye of the community and of the board on board policies that are being revised. We do subscribe to the California School Board Association policy update program, and policies are being updated regularly. I read through them and make the changes that reflect what I know that we do. Board members also read through them and identify additional ones that I may have missed. And then together, those revisions and changes come to the full board for consideration during a board meeting.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wanted to kind of emphasize on that the fact that we're on those committees, we do have to bring anything back to the rest of the board so that they're knowledgeable, because 1 board member or 2 board members can't make a decision for everyone. So it has to come back to the rest of the board.
And sometimes the members of the subcommittee will come to the rest of the board before a meeting to say, we're having a meeting with XYZ agency or board. And we think we want to discuss this. Is there any thoughts that we want to represent for our district?
Yeah. So with that, are we going to be selecting that now?
Yeah, so right now we have Mrs. Brizuela, who's expressed an interest in the city of Daly City and other local partnership, Colma and other local partnerships. Are there any?
And Broadmoor Village.
Yep.
Don't forget us.
So I think we now have 2 board members who are residents of Broadmoor Village. So that's
right. Yeah. We got 2 now.
Any other board members have an interest in any of these committees?
I'd like to be a part of the same one.
Which one was that? Oh, the city of Daly City and other Colma, other local partnerships? Okay. Cool.
So I would be interested in the Jefferson Union High School District and the local elementary school districts.
I'll jump on with Andrea for that one, and also pick Trustee Ku's favorite board policies.
Thank you for joining me this year. I'll also do board policies committee as well.
So do we have any that, so only one person goes on the wellness and parent advisory committee? Is PIAC, is it fully staffed with all of the schools? I thought last year we didn't.
Well, as all committees that have volunteers on it, they have selected representatives. They may not all show up to the meeting whenever it is. So.
Well, if there's, no one else is, if nobody else decides they want to do it, I'd like to include that as something that I'd like to try to really work hard to get as much parent involvement as we can, because it's really important. But if anybody else wants it, they say so. But if not, I would be happy to serve on it as well. No one's saying anything.
And then we have one final committee, the Wellness Committee. If there's anybody interested in helping to revise and update our wellness policy, as well as helping to implement it or helping to guide the implementation.
I can take that on.
Okay, so if somebody wants to make a motion, here are the notes that I have.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you to read it again. Okay.
So for the Parent Involvement Advisory Committee, we have Ms. Marie Brizuela. The Wellness Committee, we have Andrea Jordan. City of Daly City, City of Colma, and other local partnerships, we have Marie Brizuela and Maybell Manio. Jefferson Union High School District and other local elementary school districts, we have Andrea Jordan and Manufo Liahina Onoahi. And board policies, Manufo Liahina Onoahi and Mr. Clayton Koo. If that's a lot to remember, you can just make a motion to affirm what I just read.
I can make a motion. I wrote it down actually, so I can say the motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the board assignments for PIAC, Ms. Marie Brizuela, for Wellness, Ms. Andrea Jordan, for Daly City, Colma, Broadmoor, and local partnerships, Ms. Marie Brizuela and Ms. Maybell Manio, for the Jefferson Union High School District and other local districts, Ms. Andrea Jordan and Ms. Manufo Onoahi, and for board policies, Ms. Manufo Onoahi and myself.
For board policy was, who else was it?
Me.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Clayton and Manufo?
Yes.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Can I get an aye for approval, please?
Aye. Oops, aye.
Congratulations, everyone. Okay, sorry about the mix up. Moving on to F, 10F, scheduling board reports. The board will discuss and schedule reports at upcoming board member meetings for members who attended the 2020 CSBA Annual Education Conference.
Yeah, so the board did decide to send a couple of board members to the CSBA AEC. I know that there were some technical difficulties in logging in, and maybe not everybody was able to actually make it to the sessions. But if there were, and there's an opportunity for board members to share their learnings, we want to schedule them for the January or February meeting. So I think, Manufo, were you able to attend?
Yeah, yes, I was. And I'd like to go on the first meeting because I tend to get to the end and I forget everything that happened. So I'll take the first January meeting, please.
Okay. Okay, and then Ms. Jordan, you attended a couple of sessions as well.
I did, and I will agree with Trustee Manufo that let's go immediately because I think it's beginning to fade already. And so yes, please, let's make it as quick as possible.
All right, we'll put you both down for the January 13th board meeting.
Perfect.
And again, Ms. Jordan, it's not a half an hour presentation. It's a 5 to 10 minutes recap of the highlights. So just to share your learnings with other board members.
Superintendent Vidales, there's no vote on that?
Yeah, there is an action item on that. So we will vote to schedule those reports at the January 13th meeting.
So So you need a motion. So should I make the motion then?
Please.
Or did someone else do it?
No one has done it.
Okay, then I make the motion that we have those reports on the 13th, you said? January 13th?
I have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. And you say aye for an approval.
Aye.
Aye.
So we'll see you on the 13th with your reports. On to 11C, 2020-2021 LCFF budget overview for parents. The administration recommends the board approves the 2020-2021 budget overview for parents. The budget overview for parents provides fiscal transparency to the community for the district. The district 2020-2021 budget. This was part of the previous LCAP contents, but due to suspension of LCAP, it is a standalone document. Do we have any questions about it or discussion? If there is no questions or discussion, I'll take a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2020-2021 budget overview for parents as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Awesome. So it was unanimous. And on to 12B, resolution number 20-12-16 of authorized signatures. The administration recommends that the board adopt resolution number 20-12-16, authorizing signatories for the school district. If there's no discussion or comments, I'll take a motion.
I motion to approve.
Could we have included in there the names or the titles of the persons we're talking about? Let me see if it's back here. 12C. Oh my goodness.
Superintendent.
12B, yeah, I have it here.
You have it? That's just...
Okay, so essentially it is the cabinet members who can sign off on warrants and other items. It's me, it's Ms. Kessler, our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, Mr. Brent Marquez Valenti, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Dr. Heidi Joyner, our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, and Michael Lauro, who is our Fiscal Controller, Fiscal Services Director, who would be affirmed as being able to sign off on district business matters. And usually these warrants and require at least 2 signatures.
They do.
So when we do the minutes, if we could include the names and their positions, so everybody will know, it would be a matter of record. Okay. Did that make sense?
Yes. Do we have a motion on this yet?
I'll make a motion as long as the motion will include, since I don't have everything written down in front of me. I try to keep up with you. Anyway, so I'm making.
Trustee Brizuela, I just wanted to mention that there was a motion on the floor by Trustee Jordan. Maybe it needs to be amended, but there was a motion on the floor.
Yes, so I motion to approve with the amendment to include in the minutes all the names of the signatories for item 12C.
Thank you.
12B.
12B. Thank you.
Second.
Roll call vote. Did everything stop?
Override?
Do we have a roll call vote on this?
That's what it says.
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Miss Jordan,
Aye.
Miss Liahina Anawai,
Aye.
Miss Manio.
Aye. Vote was unanimous. Great. And moving on to 12, board resolution number 20-12-16A, support of applications for eligibility determination and funding authorization to sign applications and associated documents. Administration recommends adopting resolution number 20-12-16A, support of applications for eligibility determination and funding authorization to sign applications and associated documents for school facility program.
I'll second that motion.
Was there a motion?
Well, I'm assuming that you made the motion. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess you're just reading it. Trying to make it go faster.
We can take Mrs. Brizuela's motion as a first.
As a first. Okay.
I second.
First and second, can I get a roll call, please, Ms. Kovarai?
Mr. Koo,
Aye.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Miss Jordan,
Aye.
Miss Liahina Anawai,
Aye.
Miss Manio.
Aye. The vote is unanimous. Awesome. Moving on to 12D, fiscal year 2020 to 21, the first interim budget review. Miss Julie Kessler, our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, will present the 2020-2021 first interim financial report for period ending October 31st, 2020. The administration recommends that the Board of Trustees, A, review the first interim financial budget, B, approve the filing of the certification of financial condition, and C, approve the revision of the adopted budget to correspond to the projected year totals for revenues and expenditures. Ms. Kessler?
Oh, that was good. Ms. Joyner, can you let me share screen? Is that, let me see. Oh, you've got it already here.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Okay, can you see that? Is it visible to everybody?
Oh,
Great.
yeah, very
Thank
good.
you. Well, good evening. And first, I'd like to welcome our new board member, Ms. Jordan, as well as welcome back for that long time that you weren't there. Manufo, I'm very happy that you're here again. You are such an eloquent speaker. I enjoy listening to you speak every time. And Mr. Ali, it's been wonderful working with you these years, and I'm sure your presence will remain, and I look forward to that. So because we have a new board member, I'm going to take a little bit more time on this slide here, just basically explaining what the interim reports are. So I want to summarize the process and the purpose of it. We adopt a budget or the board adopts a budget in June, and then the board is required, with of course our help, to certify twice a year, called the first interim and the second interim, that we will be able to meet our financial obligations for the current year and the following 2 years. And so that's basically what we're doing. And the first interim is as of October 31st, and then 3 months later in January 31st. And so it would be for this year and the 21-22 school year, as well as the 22-23 school year. And this presentation has the 23-24 school year, but is not an official part of the interim reports. We just put it out here to give you a little bit more of a projection. So what happens is between the adoption of the budget and the first interim, which is a 4-month period, we end up closing the books for the previous year. So the budget is adopted before we're finished with the prior year. And so in the process of closing it, we have the actual expenditures, and we either increase or we decrease our fund balance, which affects the following years. And our history has always been that we have, for the most part, usually increased the fund balance, although years have become more difficult. And so we tend to have a deficit spending, although the deficit spending isn't as bad as projected. And so we end up in a better situation. Also, when we come into the new year, we now know what our teaching staff is going to look like. How have we adapted to our new enrollment? And of course, when we come into the year, we don't know exactly what that enrollment's going to be. We have an idea because the families enroll their students starting in February, usually up and through the time school starts. But then who shows up at school? And so all of this affects the budget, and so we update it accordingly. And then what I do here is I explain the differences from the adopted budget to the first interim, and then in 3 months I'll explain the first interim to the second interim, how the revenues and the expenditures have changed and how the fund balance will look. So when we compare the overall revenues from the adopted budget to the first interim here, we have an increase of $3.4 million of revenues. And in July, I gave you what we call the 45-day budget revision. And the reason for this is because we adopt our budget, or you adopt our district budget before the state adopts the budget. And so we have to adjust to what the state adopts. And in the May revise, the governor was going to give us COLA and then cut us 10% for the current year and for all following years. So we were going to have this, it ended up being after the COLA and the 10% cut, it was like getting a 7.92% cut to our revenues. But when the legislature passed the budget and the governor signed it in, they decided to not fund us the COLA, but also not cut us the 10%. And so I went over this in July, and as a result of that alone, we got $4.4 million more money. So that was really, really good, because we would have been in a very bad situation. But the budget was built on the cuts. As a result of having that $4.4 million, that second bullet that you see right here under this section, with the cut, we had to use reserves. And so because we didn't have that cut and we have $4.4 million more, we didn't have to use those reserves. We didn't have to pull reserves in from other non-general fund funds. So that is actually, it's less revenues, but to the general fund, but we still have those reserves in another fund. So we're not using those reserves. We have it for the future. And then in addition to that was special ed. The governor wanted to increase special ed $645 per student, and the legislature increased it by $625 per student. And so that would have been a loss of $111,000. However, the county Office of Ed absorbed that loss, and so we didn't have to realize that loss. And then there's some other things here. We have an increase in the cost of benefits. As you know, every year our benefit prices go up. Occasionally they go down, but this is for medical benefits. So for the 2021 school year, calendar year, our benefit costs have gone up. And so that is another $108,000. We also had a refund from STRS. We're getting a little bit less in lottery funds than we anticipated. And then we have a decrease and rental income, and that's as a result of COVID because places can't have their preschool kids come in, and everything was closed down for a while. So we did have a loss of revenues there, as well as we have a decrease in contributions. Well, actually, it's an increase in contributions to restricted programs, which means a decrease in revenues to the general fund unrestricted. All of this combined makes a $3.4 million increase to the budget. And of course, the major reason is because we didn't have that 10% cut. We move on to how did the expenditures change? Well, the expenditures increased by about $1 million. And this is typical. This happens every year. And the major reason is because our school sites, we allow them to have carryover. So they have their discretionary and S&C grant carryover of approximately $1 million. And then they also had carryover plus new donations to the tune of $275,000. So as you can see, that is a greater amount than the entire increase. But there were some decreases in expenditures as well. And here, by the way, this increase here is that benefits increase. We saw that the revenues, we're bringing in revenues from a reserve for the increase, which we had set up years ago in negotiations, that the district would cover some of these increased costs of medical benefits for its employees for a period of time. Also, our insurance has gone up. But we did save some in staffing. And then, of course, this lottery, we decreased the expenditures in lottery equivalent to the amount of revenues that we lost from lottery. So as I said, we have a $3.4 million increase in revenue and a $1 million increase in expenditures. So what is included in the multi-year projection? It's this year you'll be able to see what we've got, but we also extend that out. And so what we have included here is a 0% COLA over the years. And again, as I said, it would have been a loss of, it would have been increased COLA, but increase cut to get rid of that COLA. And instead of having a 7.92% reduction for each of these years here, ongoing reduction, we have a basically flat funding for all these years. Also included in it is, there's no one-time funds that we're including. There's, we're including flat funding for state and federal. And our big thing is the unduplicated percent and our S&C grant that we get based on the unduplicated student percent. And again, because we have a new board meeting member, I think this is really important. We get additional funds to our base level funding, which is our LCFF base funding. And it's called LCFF Supplemental and Concentration Grant Funds. And that is based on our low income students, as well as foster and homeless students and ELs, English learners. And the ELs and our homeless, our low income students make up the largest population. Based on that, we get additional funds to be able to serve struggling students. Our percent has been our unduplicated percent. And I say unduplicated because if an EL student is also a low income student, then they only count one time towards the S&C grant funding. And so that's what we call unduplicated. So 67.82% of our students were in this category. And so we get a lot of funds for the S&C grants. However, this is lower. We used to have it in like, I think it was as high as 73% at one point, but each year it's gone down. And this year it's gone down as well. And right now it is actually at 64.4%. We're just now certifying that CalPads, but there will also be a second certification in January, and then we'll have that final number for this year. And so it's a 3-year average. So as we move out over the years, in this case, the average is going down. Also included in here in the out years is a loss of declining enrollment protection. What declining enrollment protection is we get the majority of our funds based on our ADA, our average daily attendance. And of course, our average daily attendance is based on our enrollment. Well, our enrollment has been going down over the years, and I will be able to show you a slide to show you what that actually looks like. But from last year, from 1920 to this year, we've actually gone down 237 students. I talked to school services today, and they said they don't know any declining enrollment district that is holding constant. Every district is pretty much going down. The number of students that are showing up for school have reduced. And through 60 Minutes, I've learned that this is a nationwide problem. But in any case, declining enrollment protection, we get either the highest ADA of the current year or the previous year. And so this year, we'll have declining enrollment protection of last year. And because of COVID and what's happened, they've extended it that our declining enrollment protection will be for a 2-year period instead of the 1-year period. So we will have it for this current year, and we'll also have it for the 21-22 year. However, come 22-23, we will then have to recognize a loss in ADA at this point, unless we have more students and they show up. So, and you'll see that in further slides. Also included in this is a step and column, as well as the increase in STRS and PERS. And we had a reduced STRS and PERS for a period of time, and that's gone back up. And in the out years here, you will see that in year 22-23, we have to bring in $2.6 million from other non-general fund reserves in order to maintain our 3% reserve for economic uncertainty. And in the 23-24 year, we have incorporated into the multi-year projection a $6.5 million reduction in expenditures. The reason why we've got it in the 23-24 year is, number one, because it is not an official part of the second interim report, we do not have to, at this point, identify what those expenditures, what cuts they will be. And also, we, of course, are hoping that, and we'll get onto some other slides here, that the following years are not zero funded COLA. If the COLA gets funded and our unduplicated percentage also goes back up because students come back into school and we are able to identify the low income and the EL students, we should be able to have a considerable amount more revenues than we have budgeted now for the future. So what is not included in the multi-year, the current year and multi-year projections? Well, in the multi-year projection, we don't have anything for increased salary or benefits outside of the step and column. So we haven't negotiated that. And so, and consequently, if there is any kind of increase, it is not included. Additionally, as I stated, the unduplicated percent has gone down. And this slide, I only found out today that it's 64.4% at this point, as opposed to 64.22%. It's a very little difference. But this alone will cause us for the current year to have a decreased S&C grant funding of $265,000. And in the out years, I have a range of what we can expect. And this range is based on if we didn't bounce back in our unduplicated percentage, then we would have this higher range of losses, 533,000, 768,000, and then again 768,000. And if our unduplicated percent rose just to 66%, not even to 66.7, then our loss would be these amounts right here, the lower amounts. And I do feel that we should be able to increase those amounts by properly identifying and getting them out. Right now, families do not have an incentive to fill out a free and reduced lunch application because everybody is getting free lunches, regardless of whether you would qualify for, you'd be eligible for free or reduced lunch or not. So there's very little benefit to a family to do that. We are messaging out and saying that it does make a difference to the district for the funding we receive to be able to educate our students. But again, there's not a lot of incentive for families to fill this out this year. So also in the out years, we have not adjusted our staffing to be reduced staffing for the reduced enrollments. And we have, there's this possibility, and I'll know more in January, I hope, when the governor proposes his budget for the 21-22 year, if we're going to get any kind of one-time funds. Revenues this year were projected to be very low, to go down a lot. And what's happened is the January proposal before COVID happened, the revenues that we are experiencing are actually up there with the January proposal. So the state is getting a lot more revenues than they passed the budget on in June than was on the May revise. And so our budget is built on the state budget. And again, like I said, the state budget was built on very low revenues and also very low out-year revenues. So there is some hope there that we will get either some one-time funds or the deferrals that we were going to be experiencing this year will go away. Now, it has not, that money will pay for all the deferrals to go away, but that doesn't actually, all that does is change our cash flow. That doesn't actually give us more money, but it does put the state in a better position for the following years. And then, as I said, in this budget, for the out years, we've not identified any cuts. We've just stated that given this scenario in the out year of 23-24, we would have to make cuts of $6.5 million, or we'd have to use reserves from other funds to get us through that year in order to make the 3% reserve for economic uncertainty. So this is what it looks like. I do realize it looks a little bit on the small side. Don't know if I can make this a little bigger, maybe. Let's see here. That helps a little bit. I guess it's kind of hard for me to move it over. Let me see. There we go. So what we have here is this line here is showing our deficit spending line. And for the first interim, we're right here at almost $2.4 million deficit spending for the current year, and next year at $2 million. Now, I don't want this to fool you. It's showing 3.4 million, but that's because we are transferring in $2.6 million from other funds. So if you, and I'll show on another slide, if we didn't transfer that in, then this would be a $6 million deficit spending. The same token, these expenditures are reduced. You can see how we go from $50 million in expenditures to 44 million. That's because there's $6.5 million reduction in these expenditures in order to get us to this $222,000 deficit spending amount. In reality, we have about a $6.7 million deficit spending here. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller again so that it fits better on my screen. This is what our fund balance looks like in our general fund unrestricted as a result of our spending. Right now we're here, and well, we're right here after, this is the unaudited actuals from last year where we ended. At the end of this year, we will be deficit spending, so our fund balance will reduce, and then it will reduce again the following year. And then it goes down. This is just basically equivalent to our 3% reserve for economic uncertainty. But again, that's because we're bringing funds in this year and we're having cuts in this year, or we would not have any balance at all. Because if we're bringing in $2.6 million and our balance after bringing in $2.6 million is only $1.9 million, then we would have negative cash in these years. So this is what our deficit spending really looks like when I remove the $2.6 million transfer in. And if I were to remove the cuts of $6.5 million in the 23-24 year, these are the deficit spending amounts. And in order to meet our reserve for economic uncertainty, in this year, we have to have these cuts unless the budget changes. And I do believe the budget will change. I do believe that we will experience some one-time funds. And if not some one-time funds, then at least perhaps COLA in the out years and increase unduplicated percent. But the COLA alone, that's a really big deal. And so if we have that, it won't be as bad. I do have numbers. So for instance, if we were to just receive COLA and rebound our unduplicated percent only to 66%, this current year is not going to get better from that really, unless we get one-time funds this year, which I don't think we're going to get it this year. But this $2 million deficit spending would turn to $1 million. This $6 million would turn to $3,400,000. And this $6.7 million would turn to $2.8 million. So you can see that would be a much better situation. That's pretty much based on getting COLA, which is something that we almost always get. And then, so unless the economy takes a dive and stays down, because it didn't actually take a dive at this point, but if it does and stays down, then we would not be getting the COLA. I want to show you what the declining enrollment is doing to us. Since 2013-14, you can see we've lost, except for this one year where we gained 20 students. But this is how much we've lost each year. This is not cumulative. The cumulative amount is right here. This is the cost of loss in LCFF funding from losing these students. This is a cumulative number. So the 747 students that we've lost over these years cost us $7.4 million. And so decreasing, for instance, students don't come in pretty packages of 20 or 25 students at a time for one class. So we don't lose 20 first graders at the same school. If we lose 20 kids, they're going to be spread out over all of our schools. And they're not going to just be in first grade. They're going to be in multiple schools. So it's not like we could just reduce a teacher for every time we lose 20, 25, or 30 students. And even if we did, the amount that we lose per student at this low level is almost $10,000 a year. And so if you have 10 students, that's $100,000. 20 students, it's $200,000. Well, a teacher's not getting paid $200,000. So even if we were able to get rid of, to reduce a staff by 1 for every 20 students, we would lose $200 in revenues, and the cost of the staff would probably be around $80,000, $90,000. So it's something that's hard to keep up with. Now, for this year, the good news is that we did get CARES funding. And so that was the coronavirus relief funds, federal funds. And we've received in just this coronavirus, 3 different funds that we received. And this one alone, we received $4.3 million. And this has to be spent in a few days. We don't get to carry it over. So we have been working very hard to support, and it's very restricted how we can spend these funds. Most of it is used for learning loss mitigation. And so we've got staff development, we've got technology devices for our students because they're now working at home, connectivity, we've got the virtual school and administration for that. We have counselors, tutoring, academic tutoring, additional software, and other supplies to support distance learning that we have been able to charge here. We've also been able to charge personal protective equipment here and cleaning supplies. These are, you know, like a big deal are the HEPA filters that we have so that when students do come back, students and teachers do come back to the classroom, that the air is clean. We have air purifiers we've purchased for them. We've increased ventilation. So for instance, some of our school sites, they didn't have operable windows weren't operable properly anymore because they're old. And so we're replacing some windows so we can have that proper ventilation. It also supports the student meals that we're being able to provide and multiple other things. So we are going to be able to spend this $4.3 million. As again, today is the 16th. So we have 14 days left to actually spend these funds. And I said, we've been working very hard to be able to do that and to be able to support the learning loss mitigation with this. Outside of those funds, we have, these are also CARES funds. This one's called Prop 98 CARES funds. It's still federal. And we get nearly $500,000 from this. This we have to spend by June of the end of this school year. And then we get another $300,000, which we have a whole nother year to spend. And so and it's again for learning loss mitigation and protective equipment, personal protective equipment. And so it will be used in the same manner that the other funds were used, because those other funds had to be used for a very short period of time. And we used $4.3 million worth. This is $800,000, and it's got to get us through that same kind of stuff for this year and into the following year. And then we're still getting ESSER funds, and that's at $614,000 that we're getting. We have a year and a half to spend that, or more, almost 2 years to spend that at this point. And these funds we have to share, we have to offer to the private schools to participate in like staff development and such that these funds will support. In the end, what I want to tell you is that we can actually meet our financial obligations that we are required to meet in order to have a positive certification. Again, a positive certification means that we are able to meet our financial obligations in the current year, so 2021, as well as the 2 out years. And we are able to meet those financial obligations. And so we can certify as a positive certification as a result. So at this point, I'd like to ask if there are any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Melissa, for your very informative and eye-opening report. I actually have some comments. You mentioned that in the out years, we might have to make about $6.5 million in cuts. I remember how hard and disheartening it was to make $2 million in cuts. So it's a little scary to think about, especially with the way the economy is going right now, talks of a recession next year, talks of even the dollar collapsing. I don't want to be one of those doomsdayers, but I don't want to treat the needs of our district as a corporation. But when I see your sheets and we talk about finance, it's very hard for me not to think of balancing the budget and thinking about not only what's outgoing, but what's incoming. So other than the traditional ways of revenue, like the free and reduced lunch program and higher enrollment and things like that, what else can we entertain or even research as a board or a district to, you know, beef up the incoming flow so we don't have to make that much amount of cuts in the out years?
And that's something that you guys can obviously discuss, but what I want to point out here is our declining enrollment is really what is affecting that a lot, as you can see right here. This $7.4 million is not just adding up these years of loss. It is on a yearly basis. This is a per year loss for losing these many students at this point. It's not just, I mean, this is what's adding to the previous year. So like this year would be this loss plus all of these. So it has so much to do with our declining enrollment. Getting those students back is the biggest thing. You passed the budget overview for parents earlier on, and on that it showed that our revenues for the district for this year are over 70 in the general fund, over $76 million. That's a lot of money, and the other part is, as I was saying, is right here. This not getting COLA is a huge thing. And Superintendent Thurman, when he asked what he can do for us, that is put the bug in the ear of the state to, number one, allow us to have declining enrollment protection for one more year, because if we could have it for, we're hitting a cliff in the 22-23 year by losing our declining enrollment protection. This year, we're not even required to, we're not being based on this year's ADA at all. And the same with next year. And so next year's ADA is going to be really, really important to us for the following year. And so these students that we've lost right here from this year alone, 237 students, which I am hoping that some of these students obviously come back. Hopefully they haven't like moved out of the area completely, but if they come back, our ADA will go up. But if we can have one more year of declining enrollment protection, then that gives us the following year, next year, to bring it back up, to get these students back in. And if we don't start the school out with in school learning at the beginning of the next year, and we start out with it as distance learning again, I mean, I'm not an expert here and it's not my area, but you know, I would be concerned about the students not coming back and having this amount stay low. So our biggest thing, the biggest thing we can do is get these students back in and get the state to give us one more year of declining enrollment protection and then fund this COLA. I mean, to have a 0% increase every year, this is what they're telling us to budget on right now, is not realistic for any school district to survive. So this is the efforts, because how are we going to bring in millions of dollars? Bringing in a couple $100,000, that's nice, but we need to bring in millions of dollars. And the only way that we can really do that is to get this fund, the COLA funded, and increase our ADA, and have the opportunity to do that by having an extra year of declining enrollment protection. Did that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Appreciate the response. If that is the case, then I think we as a district need to beef up our efforts to garner more enrollment, whether, you know, it's something as small as supporting more affordable housing at the planning and council level, to something that I mentioned before a while ago, but creating some kind of marketing program that highlights our district to the rest of the Bay Area region. Maybe some people are thinking about leaving the city and coming to the peninsula or whatever, something that we could blast online to reach a bigger demographic and audience, to say, hey, you want to enroll your kid into this district. You know?
And by the way, we're not the only district experiencing this. That, you know, statewide declining enrollment is really big, and we are right in there with San Mateo County with the percentage of students that we have lost. And so when all the school, if we're just one school alone, then, you know, we might get swept under the carpet and not be noticed that we're struggling. But with so many school districts struggling like this, the state has got to recognize it and support us. And again, starting out with the COLA. But I do agree, we need to get those students back into our district, and yeah, and stop the bleeding.
I don't have questions. I do want to thank you, Ms. Kessler, for providing us this comprehensive overview. While daunting, I share the sentiments of our president, Ms. Manio, that it is going to require some strategic and creative thinking and leaning on community partners, like maybe partners in our business community who we know are struggling, but there has to be some level of some type of fundraising, or, you know, at a different level with partners that are able to do that, from foundations that might be able to consider some of the bleeding you speak to. And I know this is not unique to our district, but it is going to require that we not have another difficult and heart-wrenching meeting like we did not too long ago, trying to come up with a list of what we were going to cut. I mean, we're hurting enough, and our whole administration, you know, to the powers that be, such as our superintendent, who said, what can he do? And any other legislators at the state level, to see how we can all be creative together. So I just want to say thank you, Ms. Kessler, for always providing us with a very clear picture of where we stand as a district.
I'm happy to provide that to you because it is important that you know the truth so that you can make decisions accordingly.
Yeah, and one thing is that while it is the truth as we know it now, we know that it will not be the truth as it will be realized.
Yes, I completely agree.
So I think, after January, we'll get a little bit better sense of what these cuts look like. That's why we pushed those cuts to the 4th year out. We don't want to make those reductions right now if we don't need to. So we put them in that 4th year where we're not obligated to make those reductions. However, as we get closer to it, nobody makes those cuts in one fell swoop. We will probably need to consider smaller reductions along the way to make up for whatever that big balloon payment will need to be in 4 years. So, we'll know a little bit more after January. We'll see what happens with the extra funding that came in this year. We'll see if they consider giving us some COLA adjustments in some years. I don't, as we said, we don't need to make any reductions right now for the following year, but our pattern has been to determine reductions 2 years before we put them in place, just so that we have time to do that. So if that's the case, we will probably consider conversations about reductions this spring or summer and fall.
And do remember that $6.5 million of reductions just by getting funded COLA and having our unduplicated percent just doesn't even bounce back to what it was. I mean, it would still be lower than it ever was. Reduces that $6.5 million of cuts to 2.7 million or 2.8 million here actually. And actually we have reserves, like I said, that would help us through that in order to not make cuts before we really need to, before we know where we are. Because again, you don't want to make cuts planning in this, 4 years out when we don't know if we're going to get funded COLA or not, but I think we probably will.
So the motion that the board needs to make, it's multiple parts, right? What needs to be done here?
Okay, so Trustee Manio stated the part that I'm trying to get down to that last slide. Sorry, I have to do it this way. When we want to approve the or take action to approve the first interim report with a positive certification.
Okay.
There's no more questions or discussion. I'll entertain a motion.
I can make the first motion. I just want to make sure I'm getting it right. Do I do it I see there's 2 parts. Do I do the 2 parts at once or are we approving them separately?
Oh, everything can be done at once, I believe.
Okay, all right, so let me read this. I'd like to make a motion to approve the filing of the certification of our financial condition and also approve the revision of the adopted budget to correspond to the projected year totals for revenues and expenditures.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, I think you do want to say at least positive certification in there somewhere, right?
Yes, but I thought you did.
She described the condition. She didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And with positive certification of the first interim financial report.
And we have a second on that from Mrs.
Second.
A motion and a second. Can we do a voice vote, please? All those in favor say aye.
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 That was unanimous. Thank you again, Ms. Kessler. 14A, retirement. The administration recommends approval for the retirement request from the following classified employees. employees, and requests appropriate resolutions be prepared commending them for their years of service with the district. Luz Quintaya Zelaya, SCIA TRP, effective 12/31/2020, date of hire 1/2/2001. Jean Y. Wong, Office Assistant 1, MHT at MHT, effective 12/31/2020, date of hire 8/27/1996. And Deborah A. Baye, SCIA at MHT, effective 2/9/21, date of hire 9/3/97.
If I can just say a couple of words, I want to say congratulations to all three of these longtime employees. They've been excellent members of our school communities, and I know they're going to be very much missed from their schools.
There's no other discussion or comments. I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the retirement requests from the following classified employees and request appropriate resolution be prepared commending them for the years of service with the district. Luz Quintilla Zelaya, Jean Y. Wong, and Deborah A. Thou.
I'll second your motion.
Motion and a second. Can I get a voice vote, please? All those in favor say aye.
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 Great.
Aye.
Thank you. And thank you for your service. A couple of you have been here since the 90s. And thank you for sticking with us, and best wishes on the next path in your life. Moving on to 15A. Return to in-person learning update. The administration will provide an update on the JESD plan for returning to in-person learning. Mr. Valenti and Dr. Joyner.
Yeah. Dr. Joyner, you want to go ahead and put it up and get started?
Can you all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. First off, I just want to say congratulations and welcome to our new trustee, Jordan, and welcome back to our trustee, Manufo, and good luck to Shaquille. He definitely will be missed, but I'm sure he will be here with us. So tonight we are coming back just to give another update regarding our return to in-person learning and the plans that we are making. With our planning, we are focusing on providing, looking through an equity lens with all of our decisions around returning back to school, and then thinking about our students, staff, and our community. And so we are prioritizing the health, safety, and welfare of all of our students and staff. And we are providing a rigorous and safe educational experience, but through the context of the 4 pillars. And one of the things that we do want to do when we are able to come back is bring our most at-risk students back first, because we are clearly aware.
Meeting.
I'm sorry?
Okay.
So we are really aware that, you know, the way students are learning is having a greater impact on our at-risk students. And so as best as we can, we want to bring them back first. And we will continue to engage all of our students with live daily interactions that meet the instructional minutes that the state has put forward for this school year. So we keep all of this in mind and at the forefront as we are doing our planning. So just as a reminder, on October 14th, our board approved the following for our return to in-person learning. It wouldn't begin any earlier than January 19th of the 2021 school, 2021. and that the health conditions for our county and San Francisco would meet the minimal yellow tier standard across all metrics, and that's based on the California Blueprint for a Safer Economy. And that the new weekly cases in Daly City would be fewer than 30 in a 2-week period. So currently, on the left is the return to in-person dashboard that we were looking at on I think November 16th, as of November 16th. This is where we stood. We were in the red tier at that time. And our new weekly daily cases were 108 at that time. And currently, we are here. As of tomorrow, we will be in the purple tier. So we have joined most of California with the stay at home. And again, that starts tomorrow. And so we've got we will continue to plan. We clearly are not ready to return based on this health data. And so Brent will talk more about what's happening.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you. As Dr. Joyner had mentioned, the return to in-person learning is really largely contingent on our community meeting the health metrics that support a safe return to school. She went over where we were, where we are, what the minimum baseline is. We needed to get back and meet with our site and family representatives to give them an update on where we were with things. And so those site and family representatives have been meeting pretty regularly, some schools more than others. But on December 9th and December 14th, we convened the Return to In-Person Learning Committee. And we had over 70 staff and family representatives come together to collaborate, review the plan to date, look over at the data, and really give folks an opportunity to flesh out some questions they have. There's a lot of local questions that apply at certain schools that don't apply at others. We had about 50 staff members and about 30 family members, so we're really happy about that. The meeting in January. So it was a really good conversation. It was a good way to get started or move forward with our conversation. Next slide, please. The main items that kept returning to the surface were health and hygiene, and in particular, bathrooms. How many bathrooms schools have and how are we going to clean them between groups of students using them? Ventilation, which classrooms will get the HEPA filters, or the portable HEPA units, versus which schools have centralized air handling systems, and what types of filtration processes will be in place. A lot of concerns about how are we going to do the temperature check for students coming in. We had experience over the summer with our big lift, and fortunately, the people that were the administrators of that program, as well as teachers, were able to give a good sense of how it was done every day. Questions rose as to how will the school and the district deal with a positive case in a classroom, or in multiple classrooms? Does the school close? Does just the classroom close? And also, how are we going to work with students who perhaps are not following the guidelines, or younger kids who are not able to wear the facial coverings for the entire period of the day? So we were able to go through these with the families. I think we were able to clarify that we have purchased the filtration. We have our bathroom cleaning procedures well in place. again, the fact is we're not coming back anytime very soon. So we have some time to work out the details with this. And each school site will be putting in place its own specific practices, because based on the number of bathrooms, based on the type of air handling units they have. Physical distancing was a big question about students with special needs, as well as employees working with those students with special needs, and also our nurses when they're working with our students. We feel that we've got enough of the protective equipment and physical distancing procedures in place, but there will be situations where students, especially with special needs, will have closer than 6 feet contact with the adults they're working with. And we just want to make sure those safety measures are in place. Another big topic was the gatherings. How are we going to get staff back on campus? Are they going to have the opportunity to prepare their classrooms? And what are the plans for our staggered start and end times? And how are we going to coordinate that with families who have kids in other schools? Perhaps they have a kindergartner and a fifth grader who could potentially start and end school at a different time. So there's still a lot of logistics, and school sites are already starting to start the conversation, and we're working to establish which families have children at multiple schools and reach out to them to decide which students would come on one day, which would come on another. Ms. Joyner, next slide, please. Our upcoming or our next steps in this process are to have a meeting on January 5th, again with the staff and family representatives, to make our final revisions on the draft plan. Then we're going to be having a community meeting to share and discuss the revised plan. That'll be led by Dr. Joyner. Then we'll be posting on January 9th our draft plan to get additional community input. And we'll be bringing it back to the board at our January meeting for board approval. After the board approves it, we submit it to the San Mateo County, San Mateo County Office of Education for approval. And then, you know, right now, because of the health data situation, we just have to wait and monitor when we can begin to implement the rollout. It will start, like Dr. Joyner mentioned, having students that are most at risk returning to school first. Some schools are beginning programs to help students who need to have a better place to work, working in multi-use or in classrooms with small groups of other students. That's already happening. But it will be a phased-in approach. And we feel by our next meeting in January, we'll be able to wrap up our plan and be prepared to present it in total to the board. I believe that's our last slide. Dr. Joyner, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nope.
Okay.
The meetings have been really, really good, well attended, and really good feedback. So we're really happy about the participation, and we're looking forward to the community meeting.
Any questions I can answer from the board or some clarification I can offer? Yes, Mr. Koo. Our board member.
Valentina and Ms. Joyner, thank you so much for the presentation. I just had a couple questions. I guess the first one is, I know currently there is a bill being proposed in the state legislature in regards to getting schools to reopen.
That AB 10?
AB 10, yeah. Mm-hmm. I was wondering if that bill, depending on when it gets passed, or if it gets passed, would have any impact in terms of sort of the plan that you guys are working on right now?
I don't think I mean, only if it does get passed and the timeline gets pushed closer. I mean, I think March 1st is the timeline that's the date that's been referenced in AB 10. So only in that it would give sort of a proverbial line in the sand, I guess. I think I'm confident, I should say, that our plan will be in place and the necessary procedures at the sites will be in place, because each site also has their own individual plan, which is included in our plan. So I think it would just be more of we will start in person on March 1st. I think that would be the only difference. I don't know, Bernie or Dr. Joyner.
Yeah, I think essentially what that bill would do would be override the board's guidance on when we move to back to school.
Mm-hmm.
The board sets some guidance around health conditions, and this would override that.
Yeah, because
plan,
it
as mentioned, will be finished and ready for board approval in January.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of waiting for the health conditions or for this legislation to move forward.
Yeah, because it says you can start in person in red if that's where we're at, in the red zone.
So pretty much it would like supersede what we decided back in October. So trying to
correct, yeah,
until it yellows.
But in terms of the implementation of the plan and the procedures and the schedules and all that, that's going to continue along the lines that's already been being developed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a follow up on that question. So related to AB 10, I know that at the moment cases are rising pretty much across the state, across the country. Is that affecting anything that you guys are suggesting in your report in terms of reopening, or has it really been taken into account already before all this has really taken place?
In terms of, if I can just for clarification, the fact that we're seeing a rapid increase of cases, and how is that kind of included, kind of the if this then that?
Yeah, just because I'm going to guess that cases are probably rising because of family gatherings around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to increase again in a couple of weeks with Christmas.
Yeah, so like as mentioned before, sort of the plan is independent of what's happening right now. It's based on the assumption that we're going to be in yellow when we start to move forward. So I think it only means that this just takes longer to get to yellow, because you do need to be in each level for at least 3 weeks before you progress to the next level. So it's unfortunate that the cases new cases are rising at the rate that they are, and more unfortunate is that the number of individuals who are being hospitalized in an intensive care unit as a result. So hoping that after the new year, we can really get serious about this and individual choices begin to make sense to people. And I think for a while, people didn't really see the connection between their choices. Just here in our district, we went from needing to report probably 3 cases every week to week and a half to, there's a point last week where we're doing 2 to 3 cases a day for about 3 or 4 days. So, more of our staff and more of our families are getting infected with it. Some of those people had no idea how it happened. Other people are like, yeah, we did travel, or yes, we did gather. And there was a clear link to behavior. But for some people, it was like, I have no idea how this happened. So, but it is evident that the virus is in our community, and it does not surprise us that people are being infected, because it is there and it's very prevalent. And so the more that people can stay home, the better that they can protect themselves and their families.
And I think, Trustee Koo, if we are directed to, there's new regulations, there's social distancing, distances change, or, things of that nature, those are the likely things we'd have to amend. But everything we're doing is linking it to the pandemic recovery framework, which is pretty regularly updated, as well as the California blueprint. So I think it's more of whatever any state or local rules that change is where we'll have to revisit. It is a living document, though. It's not static.
Okay, cool, thanks. I have one last question.
Take it. I'm here all night.
I remember like a couple months ago when we were discussing sort of virtual school versus the hybrid. I believe like right now is when that open period starts again. Is that correct?
So, Dr. Jordan, did you want to speak to that?
It's gonna start in January when we come back.
No, the question was families wanting to switch from one program model to
Going
another.
from one to the other.
Right. So for families who are in virtual school and wanting to switch, ultimately it's all by a case basis. So everybody, if anybody wants to make a switch, they would need to contact the current principal and let them know, because we have to attend to the number of students that we have in the classrooms based on the teacher contract. So again, it'd be on a case-by-case basis.
But that period has already started. I think Mr. Kruger referenced that. The families have already made their selections known, and families have already been notified if their choices were going to be honored or able to be honored based on space available. And that change does not happen until the end of January.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Any other questions right now? All right. Well, with that, that's our report. We look forward to coming back in January and presenting the plan. You'll have it ahead of time so you can look at that too. And then, I mean, it's tough. You're working on something and the ball keeps getting kicked down the road, but you have to be prepared. And what's been great is that everybody's really been going in there with good intentions, and it's been a good, robust conversation, but positive. And I appreciate that a lot. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Valenti and Dr. Joyner.
Thank you both.
If there's no other discussion or questions, we'll move on to 15A. I'm sorry, 16. Persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment or address the board on any issue that is under the board's jurisdiction and not on the agenda. And there was, I believe.
Yeah, we have one comment. Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please go ahead, Superintendent.
Yeah, we have one comment from a parent, Mr. Carlos Jose. It reads, "Thank you to the school board for taking our children and family safety for making our children's and family safety a priority. We are hybrid parents and we don't want our children back at school until it is yellow, like you said. We chose hybrid to stay with our school teachers, but we don't think it's a good idea to go to school until our families are safe. We have grandparents who live with us and we want them to be safe too. Thank you for making sure we are all safe. That is what we care about before going back to school."
Thank you, Superintendent Vidales, for reading that comment. And we'll move on to governance team member comments, reports, and board meeting reflection. Would you like to start us off? Let's go with Trustee Koo.
Sure. I was actually going to give a report. So I didn't attend the annual school board conference, but I attended the delegate assembly meeting, which actually took place right before it all started. And we're just going to give a quick update on some of the stuff that was discussed in that meeting. So primarily it was another virtual meeting due to COVID. But I was just going to give an update in terms of some of the topics. We discussed a variety of topics regarding school reopening, sort of CSBA's suggestion recommendations on how best to do so. There was adoption of a variety of governance topics to make CSBA more efficient for school board members and school districts as a whole. Lastly, they are working on a task force in regards to climate change and sort of how that impacts schools across California. And then lastly, We elected a couple of new statewide officials. Suzanne Kitchens is the new CSBA president. Susan Heredia is the new president-elect. And then Susan Markarian is the new CSB vice president. And then I also wanted to make a shout out for Amy Koo, who is actually a trustee in the Belmont River Shores. She was elected as CSBA's API delegate at large. So she'll be representing us at a statewide level as the Asian American Pacific Islander delegate representative. Yeah, so that's my report. And other than that, I just want to wish everybody happy holidays. You guys are safe, healthy, and I'll see you guys again in person hopefully soon.
Thank you. Anybody want to volunteer? Okay, then Trustee Bruzuela, would you like to go?
Of course. I thought this meeting was a really good meeting, and I appreciate all the work all the stuff that was brought to us. And I think we're in a good place as long as we just follow the guidelines that are given to us. And I just wish everybody safe and happy holidays coming up. And remember, we can still be at home, be safe, and still enjoy ourselves. Okay, and think about if we could help somebody out there that needs help, that would be a wonderful role for us to do. But thank you so much for everything. You had a great meeting.
Trustee Andrea.
I am processing a lot of what I'm hearing here tonight. I'm going to be learning a lot over the next couple of months and years, and I'm really excited to do that. I do want to echo everyone's sentiments on being safe and staying home. As a parent of 2 children in our district, I really see the teachers and the staff and our administrators pivoting, during this time. And I can only imagine how hard it is to teach virtually, having a kindergartner myself. And so I just want to say thank you to our teachers and to our staff and custodians and administrators for all that they're doing to keep our kids engaged virtually. Happy holidays, and thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
President Liahina Onoahi.
Thank you, President Manyo. I embrace everything that's been shared. And of course, I always leave my family for last. I did my thank yous and I didn't extend my gratitude to my husband and my children for dealing with my long days and long nights during this campaign season, and for many times allowing me to drag them out when they were tired, me needing them. So I just want to say thank you to my husband, led by Ryan, Onoahi, and my children, from Heavenly to Hamilton to Reno, my campaign manager. He stepped up and he did everything. He did everything. And I'm very grateful to have one of my kids be able to do that for me. And to Harmony and to Vo, I want to say thank you. And to my treasurer, my cousin, my brother, Tinoy Fili Elisara, who flinched when I said, I need your help. He said, what do you need? And he just took over the books and made sure that everything was paid for and that we closed out and did well with all of the humble donations we were able to receive. And lastly, but not least, to my Reverend, my Elder Reverend Kenape and First Lady Tunfa'i Eliapo, for all your prayers and all of my church that prayed for me fervently. I thank you, and I thank you. My cousin Kim, who drove all the way to make sure from Pano that I get these. I'm very grateful to the community. I'm excited to get busy with, my board colleagues, and I hope that we can continue to remain safe. And I want to shout out the efforts that are happening in North County to Jefferson Union High School District, who is sponsoring testing there. at Jefferson High School. Please take advantage of that. Our numbers are increasing, and the word is that we're not out there getting tested. So if you know you need to be tested because you're not staying home, please take advantage of it. It's in our community. And a shout out to Pacific Islands Together, Sister Reina Mefua, who's ensuring that most of our vulnerable populations are being served during these times of food insecurity. So if you have an opportunity to be there for someone, holiday blues is real. Extend that extra effort of kindness this season. It is my hope that I get to see you all well at our next meeting. But until then, God bless you all. And thank you, Superintendent Vidalis and our administrators, Dr. Joyner, Mr. Valenti, Ms. Kessler, and to our respected and highly appreciated Ms. Coveray. Thank you. And to Will, thank you, Will, for keeping us connected here with your technical expertise. But God bless you all. I hope I didn't forget anyone. I have so many people in my family. Please forgive me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to my most dedicated volunteer, let me say it again, Miss Christine Fuller. You need to get an award. You were in everybody's campaign. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Foe. I also want to just extend my best wishes to everyone during the holiday season. And as the year winds down, I hope that everybody thinks of all the blessings that they have. And thank you to all of our teachers and staff and families who are surviving this year with us as we do it together. And of course, thank you to our administrative superintendents, and of course, Maria and Will. Same exact thing that Trustee Foe just said. I hope you all have a blessed holiday and a great new year. And we look forward to seeing you all next year. With that, if there's nothing else.
We do have closing in memory of an individual. So when we get to that part, I can read that. Are we there?
We're there.
Okay. All right. So we would like to close tonight's meeting in memory and honor of Mr. Osbert Ago, who is Ms. Jordan's father, who passed away this last month. So we would just take a moment just to honor him and his legacy that lives on in Ms. Jordan and her children.
Great, thank you, everybody. I will call this meeting adjourned at 10:38 p.m.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy holidays, everyone. Take good care.
You too.
Congratulations again, Trustee.